Go for it.
Hey everybody, good morning. We are Dungeons and Designers, and today we're going to be playing something a little different while our buddy Dan is out of town, so to speak. We're going to be doing something called a monster hunt in a little one-shot scenario that we call Tales from the Wasteland, which is much more like an anthology where there's different stories that are all one-shots and come together in the same world. Joining me today, of course, are my buddies Autumn, who's going to be playing Neff, Bex, who's going to be playing the Widowmaker, Lisa, who is going to be playing Zavala, and Suchin, who's going to be playing Bartholomew. And this crew today is going to be a bit more of a, I don't want to say grimdark because that gets a really bad rap, but it's a bit more of a serious crew. How that plays out in like execution, likely a very different story. But we're excited to do this, and I'm excited to do this, and hopefully this weird sort of like build your own monster homebrew thing works out, and it's a fun challenge, and hopefully maybe I also get to kill one of the characters because they're one-shot characters. Who cares? So, with all that said, come on, let me have one.
I care.
Yeah,
Barry can die, but his brother Larry.
His brother Larry. Bartholomew.
Hero World is a different story.
Yeah, right.
So, allow me to set the stage. So, it is 6 years after the Great War of Lestus. Far in the south, during the winter months, 4 figures are traveling towards the southern swamplands, looking for a mark, called by their chapter house to clean out this monster that they think has been plaguing this town. At the lead is a tall, lanky figure, head low, features hidden behind a wide-brimmed hat adorned with pheasant feathers. As a fat blood fly draws near, she snatches it from the air in a single movement and squeezes her fist. At a fair distance behind follows a pale woman in full plate, her features lean and hungry. 2 great swords are bound to her back in quick-release scabbards, their handles old and nearly worn through. A cymbal clangs against her breastplate, a raven's skull sliced by a crescent moon. A whistle pierces the air as a tall, golden-furred tabaxi steps from the tree line, giving a nod to his compatriots. Slung over his shoulder is a heavy crossbow. On the other is this evening's dinner. He loads the crossbow attached to his wrist and remounts his horse. Pulling up the rear, head to sky and a wry grin plastered across his face, is a purple-skinned tiefling, sword slung across his back. He spurs his horse closer to the crew. The 4 enter town at a trot as a light snowfall covers their tracks, their silver badges gleaming against the white landscape. They stable their horses in South Harbor and step down the center thoroughfare. And let me try to get a little music in here because I don't hear anything.
Strange. I actually hear something this time.
I hear very moody atmosphere.
Wow, really?
do I.
For once, you guys actually hear it, and I don't. That never, ever, ever happens.
Woot. Hey.
I'm gonna refresh my own screen and see if that works for me.
Just breaks everything.
No, I've got it running in a bottom window too.
Okay,
So.
good.
So the 4 of you pull into Cauldhammer. You stable your horses. You walk a few steps down the main road through the town. You can see that this part of town, or rather this town as a whole, has had much better days. A lot of the buildings are boarded up. There is a sort of smell of mildew and mold that blows across this whole region, blowing in off of the bay. You don't see a single soul so far.
We don't typically get the warmest of welcomes, but I did think we would be met with at least one person.
Well,
Can
probably heard of us
can
before we even got here.
Can I make a perception check?
You absolutely can. Looking through, a fair number of these houses appear to be abandoned. They're boarded up. There is a slimy sort of residue on the outside of a lot of the buildings, though you'd have to get closer to get a good sense of what that is. While most of the snow here has melted through from the ambient temperatures of the ground, it does seem to pile up in drifts against some of the buildings and cluster and melt into big chunks of ice that have barred some of the doorways. It looks like a lot of these buildings have not been opened in a long time.
I don't recall anyone mentioning that the town had been abandoned.
It's abandoned, but are there any signs of any activity or any tracks, anything that would lead to somebody being around here?
Give me a survival check. Damn. You see most of the cobbles through this part of the town are broken, and much of the snow has melted away from this part of the central thoroughfare that passes through. Had there been a bit more snow on the ground, you might have gotten a better sense of tracks. It looks to you like from your check that nobody's been through in a couple of days. You don't see any well-defined tracks in the mud that's left over from the slush.
Yeah, this place right here is real abandoned. I think we should keep moving.
Sure. Yeah, let's keep going in, and we'll find something further in. Maybe there's something inside.
Gotta find some people.
Yeah, find someone to see what's going on around here.
As you push further into the city, everybody give me a perception check.
What? No.
I have heightened senses that allows advantage on hearing or smelling perception.
Then roll advantage.
Cool. Nice.
So both Widowmaker and Barry, you can hear further into the city what sounds like an argument, though it's far enough away that you cannot get a good sense of what the words are.
I just
raised voices.
Tap Barry and go,
Hey, y'all hear that? Think there's some people up ahead.
And I got a 17.
I was a 13, so.
13. It was DC 21.
Would it... how far away do we think it is?
You can gauge it's probably anywhere around 800 to 700 feet away. 700, 800 feet away. Looks like it's further into the city, towards where the light sound of a partially frozen river courses through the center of the town.
Sounds like an argument. I think we should approach real sneaky-like.
and I motion to like.
You want to do it? You want to do a pincher motion? That's what you're saying.
Okay.
All right. Who's going with who?
I'll just start going, walking in a direction.
There she goes again.
You
Follow walk in another direction.
Okay. So Barry and Widowmaker are leading the two separate pincers. Looks
Yeah.
like Neff is going to be going with Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, Zavala, you follow behind Barry as you begin to split. You split into and start to walk through the back alleys of this part of the city. As you leave the main road, you notice that the ice and the drifts are much thicker in this area. You also notice that there is a fair amount of this sort of filmy black residue on a lot of the buildings back here that gathers in some of the corners of the buildings. You guys want to give me stealth checks?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to go swimmingly.
Hey, Z, keep down, yeah?
Nat 20 for 27.
Nicely done.
Thanks for the bump. I almost rolled a 3.
That is actually an 18.
Hey, nicely done.
We're the stealthiest group of all.
Yeah, 25. Wow, 22, 21, 25.
I'm sort of holding all the squeakiest parts of my armor in place to muffle the sounds.
Need some duct tape for that?
WD-40.
You see, Barry, as you turn back, you see the pale figure of Zavala as she's holding the pendant to her chest and holding the handles of both of her swords hard against her body as she moves through these back alleyways. With your high stealth rolls, you guys notice as you're passing through these separate parts of town, there are some open windows with light. It seems like they did not quite hear your approach as you guys are passing through. So it does seem like there are some folk in this part of the city, though they may have shuttered the doors when you guys first came into town.
Upon approach, is there anything suspicious happening? Let's say, Barry will give a sniff in the air to,
Well, why don't you, if you're looking for something kind of suspicious, why don't you give me an insight check first?
Can do.
How suspicious is this town?
Oh, balls.
Real suspicious, like you don't get a good. You're a little weirded out by the reception is not unusual, but the manner of it is a little strange to you. You're not sure of whether it's fear because of you guys or if it's fear because of whatever creatures need you haunting the streets.
We roll in and we start hiding. We're like, why are we hiding, guys?
You just go to one of their houses. Is this cool? So as you are passing through these back streets, actually both Barry and Zavala, as you pass around one of these side streets into a smaller plaza that's closer to the furthest east part of the city where the harbor begins, you find what looks like a carriage. No horses on it. Looks like they must have been taken off. It's a carriage with a little bit of snow on the roof. The wheels look beaten, like it was ridden hard.
It's out in the plaza, like out in the middle.
It's off to one side of the plaza, not in the center of it, not like a centerpiece. It looks like it looks like somebody just pulled it off into this area.
Is it in prying eyes of people around?
Give me a perception check.
This is with sight, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, balls. Come on.
Damn.
Jesus.
You give a quick look. Looks fine.
Hey, Z. Watch my back. I'm gonna go check out the thing.
You do you, Barry.
Motion over.
All right. You give me a stealth check, and Z give me a perception check.
What the fuck? I'm done with this thing. That's 6 threes in a row. Or 3 6s in a row.
I'm not gonna say that I told you so or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I got
Confirmation bias. 3. You see him start to walk out into the plaza, and you're about to warn him what looks like a slush puddle when his foot plunges up to the knee into a pothole with like a gap in the cobbles, and there's just a sploosh. And as you pull your leg back out, you look, and you can see there's a bit of torchlight through some of these slits in the shutters that are closed. As for you two on the other side, you guys give me perception checks as you move through this part of the city.
That is a mighty 9.
Mighty 9. Widowmaker, you hear some conversations from folks above you on the second floor, as the first floor is completely shuttered against any intruders. You can hear a conversation between what sounds like a man and a woman, and you hear the man saying, I think they may have hit the slums again, but I can't be too sure. We haven't heard anything come from them in a long time. She says, I'm not too sure it's coming from the slums. I think it may be from somewhere else.
Do I see any like stairs leading up to the second level from the back, or is it just straight wall up to the window?
From the window to the wall, it is. There are no stairs.
To the door?
To the door. I'll kind of turn around and go and like point up and point to my ears.
What?
You had heard some mumbling, Neff, but you didn't catch what they said.
And then I'll just kind of circle around to the building, to the front door, and
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Immediately, the sound disappears. Who is it?
It's your friendly neighborhood Silver Swords.
There's a long pause. You almost think they're not even going to come to the door when you hear the sound of shh.
Oh, all right.
And then the front door, the one that's barricaded, begins to open a bit.
A lot of locks.
And just an eye peering through, and the glint of steel on the other side as you are also looking down the barrel of what looks to be a Cloudmaker.
I'd appreciate it if you did not point that at me and my associate.
I'd appreciate if you wouldn't come to my place and knock on my door and draw attention to yourself and me.
Well, we just arrived in town, and you are the only voices that we heard, and we're just trying to get the lay of the land, and we might use some of your knowledge if you wouldn't mind.
Give me a persuasion check.
Great. God damn it. How is it that like all of the roles that we decided to take got mixed up? And Such is like, I got a 6, and I'm like, I got a persuasion?
You can do this.
19. All right.
Okay. There's a pause. And then head for the plaza.
And what direction would the plaza be?
He just points to the north and says, God's help you.
What can...
Spin on my
nice
heel,
fella.
kind of walk off.
Why is everybody so goddamn rude?
So,
Y'all are gonna prefer Fluffy over you sons of bitches.
Barry, you're
Nick
now...
prefers southern hospitality.
Barry, you are now within range of that carriage that you had approached.
Looking around, is anybody looking at me.
Give me a perception check.
Swear to God. Okay.
Not a 6.
Thanks. Congratulations! You are fairly convinced that you are being watched by people in this plaza, but you don't necessarily see people, but you see thin slivers of torchlight or candlelight through shutters that have been closed, and some of them have been boarded.
Well, as long as y'all can see me, I would like to know what's going on here. And start to investigate the carriage.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
Meanwhile, Zavala looks relieved that she can stop tiptoeing around.
Making up as much noise as possible.
Did we hear that? Because of the pincher move? Did we?
You guys have
hear
not
that?
quite. You're at
Yeah.
the widest point of the horseshoe shape that you guys are currently making.
Okay.
That was really close to a 6. 17.
17. You find a couple of interesting things on this carriage. It does look to be ridden very hard. The interior appears almost ripped out from one direction, and there are long gashes across one of the doors. So as you open the door on the left-hand side, you can see there's a series of gashes that run out the left side across the door and presumably off in another direction.
Any?
And there's that tacky black residue that sort of coats the interior.
Take a run my finger and.
Mm-hmm. Give me a nature check.
Not bad.
This is some kind of mold, some kind of fungus.
You're tripping balls.
It's immediately it immediately stings the end of your tongue a little bit as you put it in your mouth.
Not the worst
What he
thing
doesn't
I've had.
tell you is it's that mold that takes over your mind and makes you into a slave of the creature.
It's a cordyceps fungus. You have 1 to 4 days before you clicker.
Get your affairs in order now.
Yeah.
Not the worst way to go. Is the residue from the claw marks at all, or is it just it's around the carriage?
With your 17, it looks like it is inside. It is within the claw marks and around the claw marks.
Okay. Mauve monster.
You continue to lick. It's like the end of your tongue is starting to go numb at this point.
Is there any signs of a struggle in the cabin? Any blood? Any? I mean, I guess it would have found remains.
There are no remains, human remains, within the cart.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it actually looks like this whole cart may have been ransacked afterwards, so you don't know when.
Got it. How big were the claw marks? Huge, small, large?
Give me another investigation check.
With Hunter's Bane, I get advantage for information about Fey, Fiends, or Undead. Applicable?
This is not applicable in this case.
Got it.
Even undead mushrooms? Because that's...
Hey!
Nicely done.
Well done. Well done. It undoubtedly, judging by the depth of the claw marks and the depth of these slashing marks, it is definitely a large creature.
I think I see the problem there. This
Well,
thing's
Barry?
done broke.
While Barry is investigating the carriage, can Zavala move out into the center of the plaza.
You
And
absolutely
kind
can.
I will give a very formal bow, and not shouting, but like projecting.
Mm-hmm.
I will say,
Stage voice.
"Greetings, folk of Cauldhammer. We have been sent by the Silvered Soul to deal with a threat that we've been informed of in this area. Any assistance you can provide, information, any knowledge or of the creature's abilities, vulnerabilities, what it looks like, where we can find it, what it has done, we would be most appreciative."
Give me a persuasion check.
Yeah, what she said.
With advantage. Only so slightly.
With disadvantage, you mean?
Tell you what.
That is a 17.
A 17? There is a... you hear the sound of a few of rustling not too far away. One of the boarded up houses that's across the street from where Barry is investigating this carriage. And after a bit, you see somebody crack the bottom door open a bit and begin to pass out into the thoroughfare, and it appears to be a elven or half-elven woman. Hard to get a good sense on age because of her ancestry, but her hair is white and pulled back into like a severe bun. Clothing very, very simple. She looks out through and looks, gives a wave, and ducks back in.
I look over my shoulder. "Well, Barry, shall we?"
Let's.
The two of you walk across the plaza and begin to enter that building. The other two of you are completing your pincer maneuver. As you make your way back to the main road again, and your other two friends are... The other two members of the Silvered Soul are not there. What would you guys like to do?
Pincer maneuver.
Yet another failed maneuver on our behalf.
The pincer comes the long way around, okay? So it actually means...
It's more of a spiral.
It's like it's a lobster claw.
It's a pince, but not quite a pincer.
Yeah.
I would like to look around for any indication of my soon-to-be dead compatriots.
Give me a perception check, or give me an investigation check.
And can I look around for any other townsfolk?
Give me a survival check.
Yeah, because I'm looking for like tracks.
You're
And
looking
shit.
for tracks. First I thought you were thinking like you were like trying to listen for them or something. And what did you say, Widowmaker? What did you want to do?
I wanna look around for anybody else that we can talk to.
That's 24.
Give me a perception check, and a 24 on your survival. You are, without a shadow of a doubt, they have not come through here. Though, you do see a series of tracks that are days old that go towards the center of the city, and you see a handful of tracks that peel off with a cart track that goes off to the east of the city, at the thoroughfare that you're currently standing at. You're standing at like a crossroads towards the middle of the city, what might have been a bazaar at one point.
All right. Well, hey, I've got some tracks here going that way, and we've got some tracks going with some kind of cart or something rolling this way.
Interesting
But
thing
I
to
don't
note about your
see our friends.
interesting thing to note about your 24. You look in the cart tracks, and where water has pulled from the snow melting, you see little white fuzzy, like little polyps forming in the wettest area of the tracks.
You see this? You see these things here? What do you think that is? If you want to use sign language or something, I know we haven't been hanging out too long, but we might figure something out because it's hard to talk to you sometimes.
I just stare at him, burn holes into his face with my eyes.
How much damage?
The mental image of Neff like having this conversation, and the whole time Widowmaker is just burning holes through him, like just like staring flat at his face, and then just turns on her heel and walks away.
I mean,
I just
wait.
raise my shoulders when you ask about the polyps or like what I think it is. I'm just gonna be like, I don't know.
mean, it looks like a mushroom or something. I mean, when I don't know, some kind of fungus, right? So maybe whatever we're hunting is fungal based, however you say it, and maybe fire would be good. You think?
I pull out my gun, like this kind of fire.
Yeah, this thing makes fire.
or a gun, because it is fire based. So I'm just thinking, so I can be prepared. I'm trying to figure some things out right now. Yeah.
And then you also said earlier that so there's tracks going in one direction and then what going in the other direction?
Footprints going north, and tracks and footprints going to the east.
All right.
So how about I give you some options and you tell me 1, 2, or 3. We can go to we can go first to the tracks going north. We can go to number 2, the tracks that we're looking at right now, or 3, we can go find our fucking friends. Whoa, hey, take it easy. All right.
She doesn't realize that might be a mix.
Yeah. Whoa.
You don't gotta call me an asshole just because I said we got 3 options. Oh, okay, let's go find our friends then. Okay, so I don't see any track. Maybe we should go back the other way of the pincher move then. Let's just follow that direction.
As you guys begin to head that direction, as the door closes behind you two, you are looking into a very, very sparsely populated interior. The smell of mildew in here is thick, with the rotting wood of the structure. And she says, please come in. My neighbors are not exactly, they're not exactly friendly, but they have a lot to be afraid of. Are you with the Silvered Soul?
We are.
Ping.
We weren't apprised of any particular details, so we were a bit surprised when we arrived and found much of the city abandoned. You're the first person that we have seen.
We honestly had given up hope. We had another group of the Silvered Soul come through here about a week ago, and we thought maybe you came here to reinforce them, or we're not really sure what exactly happened to them, but maybe you can look for them.
Would we know of this group that passed by?
You do not know of this group that passed through. You guys are pretty insulated, so it's not a huge surprise that somebody tried to scalp your bounty. But to think that a Silvered Soul group came through here
and knocked shit over and just caused the general ruckus.
I think I hear him.
It's your people.
But to think that a Silvered Soul, a group of the Order of the Silvered Soul came through here and did not succeed on their task does not bode well.
Oh, we ain't them though. We are better than them.
Have you spoken to the sheriff yet?
We have not. As I said, you're the first person that we've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Where would we find the sheriff?
Last we spoke, he was in the chapel. We've taken some of the survivors and they've gone to the chapel. The rest of us don't want to leave our homes. Maybe it's pride, maybe it's fear, but I think it's best if maybe we stay put until this whole thing blows over. She's like, seems to want to say more, and then just clams.
Now, what exactly is it that you're afraid of out here? What's happening? That carriage back there, that dumb broke carriage, it's got a lot of claw marks on it. And this stuff.
That came from outside of the city. We don't even know. We don't even know where it came from. There was only one person left in it when it arrived into town. The horses looked emaciated and near death. They pulled some girl from it, barely alive, and took her to the chapel. That's all we could see.
So it's not your carriage. And I'm sorry, you said it arrived when?
This was about 4 days ago.
Is that when...
It was a couple days before the Silvered Soul came.
And when did you start having problems?
Well, now that I can see the signs, I think the first problem started more than a year ago. But we didn't know. We didn't know it was something else.
What can you tell us of these signs, of what's been going on? We noticed...
I haven't seen anything. I've only heard things. I can tell you what I've heard.
Anything you've heard could be of use to us.
I heard that whole sections of the city have disappeared. The people, not the buildings. They just all are gone. And people have said that there's a blight, some kind of growth left in their place. And they mentioned something about a light. But I don't know what that means.
That they've seen a light with the growths, or that this light is separate?
I don't know.
Does this new information jog any memories or any information in our heads?
One of you give me a nature check, and one of you give me an arcana check.
I will do arcana.
You said the other one is nature?
The other one is nature.
Fuck.
18.
18. This is definitely matching the description of a fungal or plant-based creature. It seems to you like if it's growing, if these growths are appearing and people are disappearing, you think that it may be some sort of fungal monstrosity that is consuming people. Barry, the light thing triggers something in your mind. You've dealt with something like this before in your history, but you don't know, you can't place what it is. It's like on the tip of your tongue, but you're not quite putting two and two together.
I got nothing.
As you two are having this conversation, there's a crunch in snow and cobble as you two begin heading. Is it south and then east? Where are you heading?
Following Neff.
Neff, you're following tracks?
Yeah. Well, no, I was actually just, I am trying to go back the opposite direction that we were supposed to be coming from, as if I was the opposite pincher in the pincher move.
So making a full
Got
circle.
it. Making a full circle?
The to our pins.
It's a serpent. Ouroboros, though.
And as I am going, I am trying to use my five senses to figure out where the fuck these people went.
I am also looking around and trying to aid.
Both of you
this.
then give me perception checks, or one of you give me a perception check with advantage.
you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, she speaks. Oh, all right.
This whole time.
That is a mighty 8 with advantage.
That's Jesus.
I rolled a 3 and a
Doing
5.
really well.
Beautiful, beautiful. All you hear is the light ding, ding in the harbor, as a far off buoy that's not quite frozen in some of the glassy ice rocks back and forth in the bay. Outside of that, you don't hear much. As you approach the plaza with a beat up looking carriage on the far side, you see tracks leading in, and then you see tracks leading into a house.
I
I feel like we have been here before.
lay a heavy sigh. And I'll walk up to the carriage and kind of pace around it and see what I can see.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, just I'll motion and just say,
Mm-hmm.
like, let's wait here.
You want to wait for him here?
Okay.
This makes me nervous, but all right.
And then I just pat my gun on my side.
While you're there, give me a investigation check.
Is this both of us?
Just because she's walking around the cart, taking a
10.
look. You see about the same thing that Barry had seen earlier. You see the claw. I keep calling claw marks, but they're not necessarily claw marks. They're just long strips of material ripped out.
Mm.
It doesn't necessarily follow the biology of like a hand, with long talons on it or anything. But there's just a bunch of them, and they're all scraped and pulled out. So inside that woman's home, you guys wrap up this conversation, and she says, I wish that I could offer you more, but you have to understand things are very tight right now.
What?
Of course. The only other thing, I guess, that we need to know is, could you point us in the direction of this chapel?
I can.
We don't really know the layout of this town.
Follow the main road to the building with the 4 wings. It's got a tall central spire. It was sheared off in a storm a couple years ago, but it's still pretty hard to miss. It's one of the taller buildings in the town. And she marks it on your map.
Thank you.
This building here.
I did not get your name. I am Zavola Naevir, and my companion is Barry.
Hi, Barry. Hi, Zavala. I'm Ilya. And, this is not really my home, but I welcome you to it.
Well, thank you for all of your assistance, Ilya. We will do everything in our power to rid your town of this evil.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, ma'am.
As you guys exit, the door slamming and locking behind you, you see 2 familiar figures in the plaza. One of them leaned up against the carriage itself, hat low over her head. The other taking a look around the plaza itself. They catch your attention as you guys walk into the thoroughfare.
Hey, y'all. What,
hello, friends. How'd that pincher move work out for us?
what, do I sense sarcasm in his voice?
Give me an insight check.
It worked out great for us.
Oh, do tell, my friend.
What's your? Were you trying to deceive him, or were you being direct? Oh, sure, you get it.
Me?
No, I was talking to Ned.
I was being a snarky asshole if it was unclear.
Roger that.
That was uncalled for, alright? We were over here doing work.
Well,
Alright, that carriage?
Yeah.
Here. Just take some of the mold and show it to him.
Here, try some.
No, get that away from me. We don't know what that stuff is. It's some kind
mold.
of fungus.
I already know that.
Well, that's what I just said.
There's a feeling like menthol on the end of your finger as you have it, like as you like take a big swab of it.
You know, Barry, just for safety's sake, perhaps maybe less touching of the mold, since we don't know exactly how it affects things.
Listen,
Just be careful.
I was never much of a book learning person. I do things with my hands, alright? But I hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I hear you when we
Thanks for the
can't
reminder.
doing things with your hands.
Okay.
Whatever this creature is that we are here to dispatch, it seems to be some sort of plant-type monstrosity. Clearly,
large,
there's
too.
mold.
So I'm assuming that it would be something fire-based, right? Or no, that we could, if we were going to attack it, we would want to use some fire. That's.
One would think.
But we can't really be sure.
Madame Ilya, who we spoke with, she suggested we speak with the sheriff, and apparently there was a young woman in this carriage when it arrived 4 days ago, who survived then, may still be alive. She is also with the sheriff in the chapel. So we can go there, see if there's any additional information we can glean.
Sounds like a plan. What do you think?
Sounds like a
good.
plan. Also, a bunch of other hunters showed up about, what'd you say, like a week ago?
About a week ago.
Wait, what? What?
I'm guessing it did not go well since we have not heard from them.
They probably did.
The Silver Soul doesn't send out 2 parties, right? And nobody told us.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
The Silvered Soul is a bunch of autonomous, roughly, chapter houses, so it is quite possible that another house sent a group that our house did not know about.
Well, they're probably dead anyway, so let's get about
Most
this.
likely.
Whatevers.
More coin for us.
I'll kick off the side of the wagon at this point and kind of give one of these motions and like let's walk and talk.
All right, we.
Okay, let's get going. Jeez, it's your taskmaster.
And I will start leading the way based on the instructions that we were
Okay.
provided by Ilya.
You move back to the main road. The same sort of slightly melted, slushy snow that's up in drifts and icy drifts against some of these other houses as you move towards the center part of the city. These buildings are in better condition, not by much. A lot of them still bear the smell of mildew and mold. You can see light bits of those, I forget the name of the real world mushroom, but there are shelves of mushrooms that run up some of the wooden buildings. And as you push into the center of town, you see the chapel, which is on slightly raised ground. You can see a wrought iron fence that has mostly turned to rust and rotted away. Some of the chunks of stone collapsed in, and an overgrown, weedy yard that has mostly been stomped down by the snow. There are a number of tombstones within this courtyard, and as you move into this plaza, you can hear the light sound of music.
Are there? But there's still no people out and about, right?
No people out and about. The streets are empty.
Got it. And the smell of the mold you said is still here, but it's not as strong.
Not
That's
as
the
nearly
edge of
as
the
strong
city.
as the edge of the city.
Cool. Does this city have any sort of sewage system?
You're an Azet engineer, aren't you?
Yes.
It's the only reason anyone would ever ask that question. Give me a history check.
No advantage. Fuck.
Brutal.
That's like
So
six
close.
tens now. Jeez.
You haven't seen much in the way of above ground access to sewers. You did see a well on your way into town, but you did not really get a good sense of whether or not this has a sort of underground irrigation system or sewer system. You get the sense from the general technology level of the city that they're probably still using privies. So, still kind of an unknown quotient as to whether or not they have any kind of sewer beneath the city.
I'm gonna still keep my eyes and ears and nose open for anything that may, like any indication of an underground part of the city.
Roger that.
Maybe not the nose, just in case.
That's what I use, ma'am.
Use.
Also,
Well,
I mean,
you
I
know-
have a passive investigation of 21, if that matters.
With you now in the center part of the city, you hear the creak of a tall, tall door begin to open, and backed by a golden light is a tall, wide-looking figure standing in the precipice, or standing in the entryway to the chapel. You can't get a good look at the figure off the first pass, but you hear a deep, rumbling baritone voice that says, "I assume you are the Silvered Soul."
That would be correct.
Flash the pin again.
Greetings. And I'll give another bow.
Come to me to parley. As the figure turns and heads back inside, leaving the door ajar for you.
He turned it into a jar. That's weird.
The four of you enter the establishment and close the door behind you. You're greeted to a warm, welcoming, dry space. In the back, there is the whole back wall of this chapel has been converted into what looks like a massive organ. And from this distance, you can see that music is playing, but nobody sits at the organ itself. The music is haunting and low, and a deep rumble throughout the space. And you are greeted by a tall, stout Loxodon. In this space are a number of other people who are sitting around in a central circle of this chapel. Most of the pews have been pushed aside, and there is a modest campfire cooking spit set in the center of this area, as they're sitting about on homemade bedrolls, picking at the bones of a meal that you may have just missed. As the Loxodon turns to you and says, "I am Servitor Anor. This here is my chapel to the aspects. It was I who made the call for the Silvered Soul."
We were told another group passed through here about a week ago. Do you have any word from them?
I have not heard anything from their number. I was surprised to learn that they had a member of the Guiding Hand among them. Typically, I did not think that the two worlds would mix. They went north to the slums about 6 days ago. That was the last conversation that we had.
When he says slums, I kind of remember what I overheard of those other people talking in the window. And I just kind of give a little glance to Neff, and I kind of nod when he says that word.
What? What?
Not like you're supposed to know what she means, but just like there's a sense of recognition.
Oh, okay. I thought when you give me that look, I feel like I'm supposed to know something.
Hey, y'all got something to share?
Well, our friend here, I think she heard something, and I did not hear it. So she may know something, but I don't know what that is. So,
That is mighty helpful.
I'll reach into my vest, and I'll pull out a little pad of paper with a bit of charcoal and be like, SLUMS! Exclamation point.
Not
Got
yet.
it.
That's. It seems like we were heading in that direction.
There's a,
Underline it twice.
there is the
I'm
clack
getting a
of
sense of urgency.
there is the clack of boots and spurs on on the hard floor of the chapel, as a very short man with a great presence approaches. He is a gnome. He's wearing a flat-brimmed hat, a handlebar mustache. He's got a very prodigious sort of gut that hangs out a bit over his gun holsters, and he's wearing tall boots. He's got what looks like a sawed-off Cloudmaker shotgun slung across his back on a quick-release strap. As he looks to the group and says, "Well, it's good to see you folk. Well, I assume you're going to have some questions, and I can help you out with that, of course, but I could have sworn we already hired you folk to come through here. Didn't go too well the first time."
Ah, no, man. Those guys were rookies. We're the pros over here. You the sheriff?
I am.
Hey, man. How's it doing? Shake his hand.
William Ainward.
Bartholomew Thaddeus Emerson Cloudtop III. Now, I know what you're thinking. No, my father's not also called that. I just think the word, the third, is pretty cool. What was your name?
I did not ask any of that. He he's confused and then turns to the others. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Any assistance I can provide, I will provide. Though my knowledge here is a bit limited. I'll do what I can.
This is your town, isn't it?
It is. Well, it was. It's not as much anymore. Not too many people to govern, unfortunately. Most of them have wandered off, disappeared.
We heard that a few days ago a woman arrived in the carriage we saw back in the plaza.
Yes.
Did she survive?
Yes. She's here, as a matter of fact.
Is there anything she can tell us about this creature that might add to any knowledge that you can provide?
Maybe she heard something, maybe she smelled something, but I don't know if she saw anything. Malia, why don't you come on over here? See, Malia approaches, the tap, tap, tap of a long, slender stick. As she approaches, she looks to be somewhere in her teens, maybe just on the other side of puberty. She has long, black hair, and her eyes are a milky white.
I turn a very piercing red gaze on her. Greetings. Is there anything you could tell us about your experience? Anything you know of the creature that attacked your carriage? Smells, sounds, textures, anything that you recall?
I remember the carriage stopping, and then I remember somebody say, I think it was the driver, exclaim something. He said it was beautiful, and then I heard him dismount, and then I heard him walking away. And I heard the other people who were in the carriage with me yelling, my father yelling at him, and as my father left the carriage, that's when I began to hear screams. And I stayed down low. I kept still, didn't make a peep, and it seemed to pass over me, though I heard the sound of ripping and grinding and tearing from outside. And from close by, too, I laid there about a day, unmoving, and...
Did you hear anyone say anything about a light?
Well, they said something about something in the woods was shining out, and that it was beautiful. But...
Does this jog my
Give me
memory again?
another Arcana check.
Please. Ah, better.
A little better. So that was an 18?
Yeah.
You are familiar with certain creatures that use lures, bioluminescent lures. You think that this matches that description.
Got it. And it would be site-based, right? For those.
You can, yes.
hallucinate lures.
Yes. You make that connection, which might explain why the girl was spared.
Got it. Keep that in there for a bit.
I'll cross out the exclamation points behind slums and write a question mark, and then just saunter up beside Zavala, kind of nudge her a bit, and show it to her.
Isvala kind of ponders it for a moment. And I'll turn to look at the sheriff and the servitor. Can anyone tell us anything about the slums? Any bearing that it might have on this creature?
Well, we think that's where most of the disappearance first began, but we can't be too sure. We think it first began as just a simple disappearance. A few folk here and there. They were always traveling together, these folk who disappeared. And there was always the residue. A faint black sludge that
I
would be
remember
left
seeing that on our way in.
over time. We noticed that would sprout smaller mushrooms, though we're not quite sure what that means. We know that the moisture allows for such things to grow here, though we're not sure if it's dependent upon the moisture or if it is related to the disappearances of the rest of the townsfolk. I did, months before, send some of my chantry into the slums, not on a mission of hunting, but on a humanitarian mission. None of them returned, and I found that odd. They're not so easily swayed by otherworldly things. I found it surprising. Perhaps they were set upon, or perhaps there were other aspects that I do not understand.
Which way did they go?
They were to the north, on the west side of the riverbank.
Towards the slums, then.
Yes, that is where the aid was needed most.
Usually is.
If there's any other information I can provide, I will be happy to. And of course, upon completion of your mission, I have your payment here. He motions to the side, and there is a small, ebony-colored wooden box, about this big.
Pretty big.
Pretty huge. No, it's about 2 feet by 1 foot.
Huge.
So,
A lot of coin can fit in there.
Yeah, but she's probably mostly empty. You know how they treat us.
Is it? How much is in there?
there is one other thing. We had an alchemist who lived here, across the bridge in East Harbor. I don't know if the two are related, but perhaps you take a look at his old holdings at some point. He was on the far east of town.
Oh, a side quest. I love a side quest. There's always goods there.
Thank you for that advice. We'll have to look into that. You never know what alchemists get up to.
And now this alchemist, did he show up about maybe like a year ago?
It was much longer than that.
Was he working on anything particularly odd about a year ago?
The man kept to himself and mostly collected his food at the door. He was very much a shut-in. We did notice there was a fair amount of blackstone moving through that part of the city. Seemed strange for an alchemist, but perhaps he worked with the Empire.
Yeah, what's this guy look like? What's his name?
Let me look at my notes.
Pulls out a giant, oversized notepad.
His name was simply Carillion. I believe he may have been High Elven, though I would never venture to ask such a thing.
I've never heard an elven named Simply. That's a strange name for an elf.
Yes, we do tend to like our frilly, fancy names, don't we?
You can't really get a read off of, like, the deep brown, like, kind of glassy eyes of the Loxodon, but you feel a little disappointment in his posture.
It's like, is this the assholes that I contact?
Is that section of town much like the section we came through? Abandoned, covered in residue, iced shut? Or are there still people there?
I have not been there for quite some time. I keep my flock safe here. I keep them safe with the music of our gods. I keep them safe with food and blessings. I don't wish to cross that bridge. Too many of our people have disappeared.
I was about to ask about the music. Does that hold whatever is out there at bay? Is that how it works? It was a little creepy, but I like the sound of it.
I'm not sure how true this is, but I did notice that there's very little fungus growing in this part of the city, and I have kept the music here loud at all times, except in the evenings. And in the evenings, well, in the early morning, I do notice more of the fungus pushing ever closer.
Perhaps it does not like sound.
Interesting. Well, I know somebody is going to have a problem with that. And I look over at Vex's character. See, because you need to make sound to scare it away. So...
I just point at her guns.
Guns? Sounds like the loudest thing.
I just slowly pull it out.
You know, you are correct. I stand corrected, and I will shut my mouth.
You are sitting.
I sit corrected by your guns, indeed. Should we maybe go check out the alchemist place, or just head straight to the slums?
One
How
more
y'all feeling?
question. When is that people usually go missing during the day? Is it in the morning, noon, night?
There does not seem to be a
Indiscriminate.
correlation between time and disappearance.
Have you noticed if there seems to be a greater concentration of this fungus in darker places? Does it seem to be equally distributed between light and dark places?
I haven't seen any relation between the darkness and the light with this fungus, but there may be some sort of relation between the snow or water. I don't know. It does seem to... Go ahead.
We have noticed that some of the snow looks oddly slushy and melted, and other places it is frozen in large chunks of ice. Is that normal for this area?
I believe that this town was built on top of an older geothermal vent. There were hot springs here once, though they dried up, though I feel that the heat still warms parts of the city.
I friggin' knew it. Where can I find some of these vents?
Most of the vents have collapsed in at this point. There is one further on towards the east of the city, though that one may have collapsed in as well.
Have you noticed much of the fungus around these vents?
I have
These
not
warmer
seen
places.
the vents for quite some time. I've never really taken much interest in them.
Is there anyone here who might be able to give us a little bit of information about such places?
I believe that William has lived his whole life here. Perhaps he can tell you more.
I turn. Would you happen to know if this fungus is growing near the warmer places, the vents, or if it's sticking more to the colder, wetter places?
Well, all the fungus that I've seen is grown towards more of the colder, wetter areas. But I've been here 200 years, I think, and when I was a kid, we used to play around some of those vents before a lot of them collapsed in, and yeah, there was those weird looking worms that would grow along the vents, and there was some fungus that would grow along the vents, a bit of a moss. There was a whole ecosystem there. There was also these little spiders that would crawl around them too. They were kind of like hard shelled, like crabs, or maybe it was some kind of land crab. I don't know, but yeah, there was all kinds of life around those vents.
At the mention of spiders, Zavala shudders.
Fair.
The Widowmaker lets out a large yawn at this point.
Look, all I'm saying is, you can check them out. There's just not many of these vents left. I think there might be one in the east of the city, but that's the only one that I can think of. And, Loxodon over here is correct. If most of them have fallen in by this point. So.
Hey, Widowmaker. I get that you're bored with this investigation. What would you like to do? Where would you like to go? What do you think is the best tack in this scenario?
Chemist.
Okay, alchemist. All right.
Yes.
Let's do this. All right. I get it. We've been in this town already for about 20 minutes, and it's getting old. Let's do it.
Okay. So,
I turn to Barry. I don't think his sense of time is all that great.
I don't know. Something ain't right about him.
So your alchemist is going to be over here in this plaza. Then I'll mark it for you. The slums, of course, are further to the north. They are up in here. That's the slums. And then they go ahead and they mark the vent for you as well.
Oh, jeez.
So, you guys want to head to the alchemist first, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is correct, sir.
You four step back out into the frigid town square. It is colder and a little bit darker now. It is about 4 in the afternoon. Begin walking down the main thoroughfare. Pull your jackets closer. The flurries in the air starting to come down a bit heavier at this point. and you begin to head north. At a certain point, you head east, begin crossing a bridge under which the river has almost completely frozen over around the center pylons of this stone bridge that spans this channel. You can see there are blotches of red and black along this river's edge here from the distance on top of the bridge that you can see.
And Fluffy appears.
Okay, so there's a, and then what type of drake are you summoning? Fire drake. As it hits the ground, looks around, gives a quick little shake as it becomes completely corporeal.
Oh, hey, buddy, good to see you. Welcome. Give it a little pat. We're gonna need some help here.
I'll take out like a ration of like meat jerky and toss it to Fluffy.
Just catches it, chews it, turns expectantly towards Neff.
We're good, buddy. Just stick close, all right?
Trots next to you. You notice that he goes a good 10 feet out ahead of you and is sort of scouting and sniffing as it goes, and continue walking. So you guys cross the bridge, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You make it to the alchemist's place in no more than 10 minutes. Or at least what might have been the alchemist's place at one point. You're looking at the map, you're looking at the space, you're looking at the map, looking at the space, and really what you see is a couple of outer walls and what looks like a pond, a central pond in the middle of where this building used to be. There are these tall walls, a partial second story, though most of it is all that's left is on a first floor with just a couple of walls that run around the outside. There's snow drifted up and ice drifted up against parts of this building here. A deep central pit, an icy, watery pit in the center of the building, with a thin trickle of a stream that runs from the river itself, like a creek, a man-made creek that runs through this the eastern part of the city and then collects in this central pond.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say something happened here that was not so great for that chemist.
What makes you think that?
I'm going to very carefully, avoiding the water, look around and see what I can see as far as if I can determine what happened and if there's any tracks or indications of directions that said alchemist might have gone.
Give me a survival check.
Is this the only building that's destroyed and collapsed? Or are all the other buildings around the same?
All the other buildings looks pretty similar to this. They all look
That
pretty
is a 15.
15. You don't see any tracks from anybody aside from you guys in this area. You see, with a 15 though, you do see some loose dirt beneath some of the snow. And as you look around, you can see.
And I take out both swords and actually kind of like move some of the dirt around a little bit just to see if there's.
Moves around pretty well. It looks well tilled. It looks churned, the soil.
Are there any like big sticks or anything around?
Yeah, there's a couple of big sticks if you want to grab one.
Yeah, I'd like to grab one.
The trees in this area are dead, by the way. And another thing that you do notice here, and I should have brought this up a little earlier, is that there is a fair amount of, and these are not incredibly rare in this world, but it's strange to see them in this amount. There are about head-high mushroom stalks with red caps that are growing in the proximity of this building. These are more common to the far west in the autonomous ashlands, though they can be grown. They're very hardy and are grown kind of the way like a succulent would be grown, in the desert, where it's like a nice little thing that doesn't require a lot of nutrients. And it looks like they kind of grow all over this property. Some of them grow up along the sides of some of the walls. Some of them have sort of infiltrated parts of the mortar and have sort of eaten into it and caused further degradation to the building itself.
Is that common? Have we seen that before, or does it seem like something like they are growing?
Give me a
little
nature
bit.
check.
Okay.
While he is investigating that, I'd like to take a long stick and just staying as far away from the water as possible, kind of like dip the stick into the water to see what kind of effect it has on the stick.
As you push the stick in, give me a nature check.
Mine was a 19.
19, okay.
18.
18. So, Neff, you do know that these mushrooms can be an invasive species. They can spore and grow far outside of where they've been planted. You do notice, though, with the 19 that this is a little virulent. This is a little further beyond what they'd usually do if they would spread. So, they kind of, the way they grow up the wall and the way they spire outwards is a bit strange to you. As you push that stick into that pond and pull it back, there's like a sort of push, you push through like a meniscus. It's a little thick, a little mucusy.
I'm gonna go up to Barry and use silent image to kind of create this visual of him using his alchemy equipment to maybe test some of these spores or the liquid. And just kind of give do you want to maybe test some of this stuff out with your alchemy stuff?
Yeah, all right.
This water is not right.
There's a lot that's not right here. These mushrooms, I've never seen this before, so I'm thinking whatever is here is contributing to all of this stuff.
I'm gonna cut off a little piece of the mushroom and
Does this...
test it with the with alchemist supplies, just see if there's anything abnormal.
Okay, so go ahead and use your tools. So give me an intelligence check plus a proficiency bonus.
Does this maybe look like a ground zero to anyone else?
Fucking
I
balls,
mean-
motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
10.
10.
Jeez.
It's super odd. It's super odd. And as you're kind of
You mean the rolls?
you press your sword into the soil, and it's loose here beneath the snow. There's like a bit of snowfall on top of it. And you're pushing that stick into the pond. Like, this definitely feels it feels like you just missed something. And as you're looking towards the pond, there's like a bit of a ripple and a shimmer, and then this bulb pops up out of the center of the pond. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please. Zavala.
Had to poke it.
24.
24. You look away as now there's like a brilliant, almost blinding light.
Everyone look away!
Don't
makes
look!
it impossible to pay you can't focus on whatever is creating this light as it rises up out of the ground. Let's go ahead and roll initiative. Give me just a second. I'm going to pull you guys into the map. And I can't hear it, but I am going to play the battle track, and let's just hope it goes well. Because I can't hear it. And I hope it doesn't deafen anybody when it pops in.
We can't roll initiative until you create the
Correct.
encounter.
Correct. So let's get... so you guys can go ahead, position yourselves where you would be. Just keep in mind that one of you was near a mushroom, one of you was near the pond. a long enough stick, so probably about a 5-foot stick.
15 foot.
What? Where? Are
And
you
everybody
about?
go to this map called.
Oh, look at that.
I'm activating it now.
It's like he planned this.
It's snowing.
Hey,
That's
I
fun.
That's
love
right.
it.
now we know why he wanted to use this all so bad. He's like, look at all the fucking hard work I did.
Awesome.
That's too.
All right. So with this initiative roller, what you guys can do is you can click. Yep, you guys already figured it out.
That was a test roll.
Okay.
I like mine.
Oh wow.
Oh, it got knocked.
Wow.
It's getting lower.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's
is
even
that-
worse than I
is that
rolled
how
at
that
D&D
works?
Beyond.
I have no idea. I have no idea if that actually affects it or not.
I don't think so.
Do you guys hear the battle music?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will roll for. Oh, that's right. Fluffy doesn't get his own initiative, right?
No, he goes on my initiative after my turn.
Okay. So here's what I'll do: is I'm gonna roll for yours.
Mine, I just rolled. I rolled a 17 plus 4, so 21.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just double click and edit yours. So it's a 21, and then I'll give. And Fluffy is going to be off this initiative, so hopefully it skips him.
Before we actually start combat, would it be cool if we took a break before my cat starts a fight to eat?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll take a quick break and then we'll hop right into the combat as soon as we all get back. Does that sound good?
Yup.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, of course. Okay,
Okay,
we'll see
friends.
everybody in 15, and then we'll
We'll be back in 15 minutes, right at 1 p.m.,
that works.
and we'll jump right into the best part. So make sure and be here, friends. 1.
All right. Okay. So I'm super ready to jump into this fight and see what happens. But we do have to do a quick message from our sponsors. This week we are sponsored by the Codpast podcast. They are, if you are interested in the history of a very specific kind of fish, then please check out the Codpast podcast, streaming on Spotify and everywhere where the fish and also podcasts are found.
Oh,
so,
are they actually? They made it onto Spotify? Yeah.
Briefly. They will likely be taken down as soon as they find out that they actually sort of like Trojan horsed their way into the Spotify program. But I mean,
so I guess our viewers should probably go look them up really quick while they're hot.
They need
cold
your
or
help.
cold, however you prefer your cod, hot or cold.
Yeah.
No, there's no judgment there.
Absolutely. Okay. With all that being
What
said,
about pieced? Who prefers them pieced?
Me.
There it is.
I was trying to figure out how to get cut in there.
cod piece in there.
How to get that cod piece in there? Really?
How do you get that cod piece in there?
You just watch David Bowie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once
Elaborate.
it's in there, the real trouble is getting it out. That's the trouble.
I never
all right.
have a never mind. All right.
All right, let's have a fight. I'm tired of this. This bit's over. I'm calling it. So, as this brilliantly blinding light rises from the center of this small pond, you can see now twisting out with what look like partial roots and maybe arms and a weird central structure covered in different types of fungus and what could be little nodules that could be eyes, and these flailing sort of tentacles with these long hooked serrated edges to the ends of them. And it sort of starts to dance in this sort of motion as this lure above its head swinging back and forth, glowing with this yellow bioluminescent glare. Barry, you scoop a little bit of mushroom into a test tube and you turn and you begin to see this. What are you doing?
Aw, hell, who did that?
Sorry.
Bonus. All right. I hope I get this right. Bonus action, Crimson Right. And it's the fire one. So I roll a d6. Oh, ball.
Now you roll max
Hey.
damage.
That hurts so much.
Still doesn't make up for every other roll.
All right, so take 6 damage.
Especially not when you're doing it to yourself.
And I'm gonna take the heavy crossbow loaded with silver bolts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shoot it backwards without looking at it.
Make an attack roll.
Remember, don't look at it.
You get disadvantage. Are you intentionally not looking at it?
Yeah.
You'll fire with disadvantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zavala takes a dart in the ass.
Yeah. At first, I thought you were doing it just for style, and so I was going to give you disadvantage because you can't look, but an advantage for style points, and then just have it like be a straight shot. But you're intentionally not looking to not be affected. So
Yes. Not bad. 19.
that hits.
All right.
You think?
Do I hear it scream?
In a minute. Go ahead and roll damage.
That's 12 plus. Right. That's 12 silver damage, right? And then it's a d6 of extra 5 fire damage.
Okay. So what was the first value?
It was 12,
12
silver piercing.
Silver
right?
piercing.
Yep.
And then it was 5
Fire damage.
fire. Okay.
I don't.
It's fire damage.
Yeah, just fire damage.
Mm-hmm. Because you took fire and lightning as your two types, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Roger that. Okay.
All right.
So you just don't look at it and fire it over. Miraculously, it hits, jams into the center of this thing, and as that bolt pierces it with the fire begins to go out. From your viewpoint, Zavala, you see that as the bolt strikes, fire does not do quite as much as you thought it would as it impacts into the side of this plant creature.
Did I hit it?
Next up.
Oh wait, I got one more attack. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Are you able to hit the next on the initiative order or no? Because I can always let you do that.
No, I cannot. Wait. Yes, I can. Okay.
Okay, cool. So I'll let you do that once your turn is done, and maybe we can do that for each person. It'll keep me from stomping over your.
Yeah. Where's the next button?
It's an arrow next to on the right side of the initiative counter.
Okay.
You do see it?
Does everybody see that?
I don't see it. I just see.
No, but probably because we're not up on the
Yeah,
initiative.
when we're
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
initiative.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That would make sense. Yes. Okay.
Whee! Learning as we go, friends.
Learning as we go. There's so many cool things about Foundry that I'd never get to use because I'm weird.
20, not natural.
Busy. It's going to hit as well.
I think I'm hitting it. Another 12 plus another 5. Same damage.
Nice. Okay, interesting. The bolt sails overhead, passes between the mushroom, and then catches it right in center mass. There's like as it hits and digs in, and the guttering sound of that fire starting to
Someone
go out.
tell me if that worked.
Fire doesn't seem to be doing much.
That. No. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, there, but I still want to peek around the corners.
Okay.
I can't see anything when I'm behind the wall, so.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead and hit.
And then I use my
Let's
bonus
see if that works.
action, and then yeah, that's it. Next.
Okay. Okay, and I just have to call it out. Do you see the cool little circular thing around the thing with the
Yes,
thing?
Look at that.
indeed.
It's our logo.
That's
you
pretty
know?
cool.
Look at that. It's so cool, right?
Okay.
Logo rotate.
Anyway,
Hey guys, did you see the logo? It's rotating in the center. We love it.
That is
I
how
thought it
cool
was like attack spin the bottle. He's just like turning. He's like attacking.
and you.
the slowest bottle.
At the end of your turn, it's going to use its first legendary action to. This tendril shoots out from the side of it and latches onto. Everybody, roll a d20.
And add your...
And add your nothing.
Add your highest
dexterity
modifier.
Nope.
It's a 15.
15.
13.
12.
12.
4.
Okay.
Should all be fine.
Wait, do I roll for Fluffy also?
You do.
Alright, hold on.
Just throw your drink under the bus.
You shut your fucking mouth, God damn it, Barry. I don't want to hear about it. He's expendable like you. 18, for fuck's sake.
That's what you get.
Fluffy's like,
Who's expendable now?
Fluffy's gone.
Right? It was like, oh, really? Peace.
He unsummoned himself.
It'd be better if he's like, pardon me? What?
Excuse you.
can you go do his inner monologue for us?
I can't quite believe that I have to put up with this complete imbecile every single time.
28. Will that
Oh
hit
my
you?
god. Oh,
Me?
no, damage.
No. That's a miss.
Oh, okay, got it.
That's completely wide. In fact, I think it hit Widowmaker. It was so wide.
Rude.
You're gonna take 13 points of necrotic damage.
That's not so bad.
Smacks into the side of you. You were also grappled.
I take that back.
No. Next is going to be the next lowest was Widowmaker, so it's going to use its. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was its legendary action. Excuse me. So next up,
Hellish Rebuke.
Ooh, go ahead.
Okay. The save is Dexterity 13.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, it's
And
very dexterous.
I can tell. It is. Ooh, hey. That is 14 points of fire damage. Oh wait, no, sorry, one more. 19 points of fire damage.
And the save is what?
Dexterity 13.
It fails. So it takes how many points?
19 points.
Damn, that's not bad at all. Of what damage type?
Fire.
Fire. Okay. 19, you said.
Yes. So that's a full 19 because fuck this thing.
No, unfortunately, as you're like this vine wraps around you and starts to pull you in, you immediately fire back out, and there's like a racing flame that runs up the tendril and then into the creature, but doesn't seem to do as much as you thought it would.
Wait, can I use my reaction for damn it, what's it called? A blood curse of exposure, right?
Well, put that thing away.
Yeah. So read it to me because I've never used that before.
When a creature you see within 30 feet of you is hit by an attack or spell, you can use your reaction to temporarily weaken the resilience against it. Until the end of the turn, the target loses resistance to the damage types of the triggering attack or spell.
That's very,
yeah.
very cool.
That's awesome.
And you are within
like
30
that.
feet. You are within 30 feet?
Correcto.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's a full 19 damage.
So I roll, right? For Blood Maledicts, you have to roll the dice, right?
Are you amplifying it?
No.
Then no.
Okay, I take that back. Put my blood back in me.
Yeah. I'll put my blood back in my body. Okay. It is now its turn. You motherfucker. So let me read its stat sheets because this thing is brand spanking new. Okay. You are already grappled, so it is going to instead pull you 20 feet closer. So 5, 10, 15, 20. And then it is going to lash out at the next closest person, who is going to be Zavala.
So did you say that exposure thing lasts for how long? Just one round?
It lasts until the end of my turn.
This formula is not right.
So I think until it gets to the end of my turn,
Okay,
it still loses resistance.
got it.
Give me 1 sec, because this is not quite right.
And I'm just gonna pretend like everybody knows.
That we know what's going on. Because we've seen it before.
So
Yeah.
does a 19 hit you, Zavala?
It does. That is my AC.
Okay. All right. So
To put it simply.
okay. So a second tendril shoots out, passing through some of the mushrooms, and wraps around you, slamming into you. Immediately, you feel that necrotic, like, robbing of life essence as this black sludge is now stuck to your body. You're going to take 11 points of necrotic damage.
Zavala lets out kind of a low, feral growl, and her eyes glow a little bit. She flashes her fangs.
Okay. Last attack. It is now going to go for Widowmaker. $17.
That hits.
Just hits. Ooh, that's pretty high damage too. As that next tendril shoots out and grabs and holds you, you immediately take that 19 points of necrotic damage as you and Zavala are both now grappled, and it begins to try to pull you guys closer, though it can't do it yet. That is its turn. Next up is Neff. You can see now these thin tendrils, they wrap around you. You can feel there's like these, at the ends of each of these tendrils, there's almost like not an octopus, a squid's like little pseudopod with all these little spines sticking out of the end of it, dripping with this black ichor. And as it grabs into you, it immediately begins pumping necrotic energy into your body. You can feel yourself getting weaker. And it's Neff, it is your turn.
Okay. I both swords.
Mhm.
And let's see. So if I command my Drake with a bonus action, that means that it won't do it until its initiative, which is after mine, right?
Right. It doesn't roll its own initiative, correct? It just goes
Right,
after
yeah, it's
you.
on my initiative after me.
So yeah, it'll use your
my
bonus
command
action.
happens afterwards. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Then I'm just gonna start slashing into this thing.
Okay.
Can
Are you
I?
using both swords at once?
Can I actually slash the tendril to try to like cut it off and use it as an attack to disengage it? Is that a thing?
Mm-hmm. You can.
Okay. So would it?
You want to attack the
take damage?
tendril instead of the creature?
I mean, isn't the tendril the creature?
It is, but you can. In this case, you can attack the tendril to try to slash it off if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to try that.
Go ahead.
Wait, what is that? 19.
19 will hit. Go ahead and roll your damage. And which weapon are you using against it?
That was standard sword. Standard sword.
Standard sword? Okay.
Yeah. And that's on my favorite foe.
Give me the damage value separately if you can. So give me the sword damage first, and then give me your favorite foe damage.
Okay. Gosh, 5 on the sorry, 7 on the sword, and 2 on the foe.
Okay. You slash into it, and it begins to give. But with that slash, you notice it's like rubbery exterior as you try to slash into it, resist some of that blow. You get the sense it may be resistant to non-magical weapons.
Okay. And so my second attack is going to be the silvered sword.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 12.
To hit.
Yeah.
As you go to slash, it jerks you to the side, and your arm goes wide, and it's trying to pull you even closer now. Does not hit.
Okay. I command Fluffy. Fluffy comes a running. Here comes Fluffy. And attacks the tendril also.
Okay.
And that is... Sorry, friends.
All new characters and all new monsters.
Characters. A lot of looking at the character sheet. Mm-hmm. Ooh. That's a 25 to hit.
Definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll your damage on it.
So the standard damage on that is 2. And then the fire damage would be 5, 6, 7, 8.
Standard damage is 2. Fire damage is 8.
The standard damage is piercing, by the way. And
he sprints in and leaps in the air and grabs onto that tendril. And as you're hacking at it and he's grabbing it, it tears and rips and falls. And as you fall to the ground a good 3 or 4 feet, it immediately begins to writhe and then desiccate right there and curl up.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Like spider legs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just nasty. All right, let's do this. And wait, I do I have? Yeah, there we go. That's it.
Okay.
Turn.
All right. That's going to bring us to... Oopsies. I don't know how that got skipped. It's going to take us to Widowmaker.
All right. I'm going to bonus action Hex.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to take a silvered... pull out the Howler, draw the Howler, and fire a trick shot at it. You spend a grit point and try to daze it. So it needs to make a con 15 saving throw. And I need to roll for an attack. So it'll make the save if I hit. See if this works. Roll.
You can, and then it'll pop up in the chat window, and then you can pull that out and hit the attack and damage buttons on there, and just keep that off to the side if you need it.
Right.
That will hit, so let me go ahead and make that save. That is a failure.
Awesome.
What's your DC? DC 13?
15.
15? Yeah. Fails with an 11.
Awesome. So it's going to have disadvantage on all of its attacks until the end of its next turn.
Awesome. So you first throw out a hand. There's immediately that dark energy that starts to collect around it, and then you fire, and it just fires straight into one of those nodules, and the nodules explodes on its head. And as it does, it starts to tilt back and forth. This weird boneless creature that has these tendrils that are now tilting back and forth, almost as if it's a tree being blown by the wind.
Was that a weapon attack?
Yeah.
Okay, Fluffy uses its reaction to infuse it with fire, and it does an additional 4 fire damage.
Ooh.
Oh, oops. I need to adjust my modifier real quick.
Okay, and how much damage? Okay, got it.
Let me just roll by hand for this round, and I'll fix it.
Absolutely not.
Dang it! Stop me.
You're right, I can't.
So it's a 1d10 plus a 1d6, which is plus the...
What damage type is the 1d6 from Hex?
Yeah, it's necrotic, so I'm
Okay.
assuming it's resistant. But 9 plus 4 is 13. points
But
of
that's two
piercing.
different damage. Oh, piercing? Just piercing? Okay.
Or it's silvered, so I don't know if silvered counts for anything.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Okay.
You said
And
it was
then
9 damage, right?
9. Sorry, no, 13. 13 of the regular silvered piercing damage, and then 3 extra necrotic.
Okay. As you fire that bullet, it slows in your mind, and you can see it wreathed in this darkness as it pierces into this creature. But as the bullet pierces, you see the darkness dissipate as it gets in proximity. Doesn't seem like the necrotic affected it, but the silver bullet absolutely did, as it pierces straight through it with a sizzle and passes into the water behind it. The bullet impacting into the ground, and there's just a light now as the silver passes through the creature.
Sweet. And then I will take my second attack.
Go ahead.
I'll fire again.
Okay, go right ahead.
Attack? Said attack, damn it.
That will hit as well.
Alright, sweet. I have to roll this again. That is an additional 12 points of silvered piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And three more necrotic.
Okay, don't
No,
slip the
doesn't.
necrotic.
Yeah.
All right, so this thing now is back and forth. Another shot rocks it, the silver bullet passing straight through its body. There's a shudder from the creature. It is going to use its legendary action to pulse the lore up of its head at you. I need you, Widowmaker, to make a wisdom saving throw.
Am I within a certain distance of Zavala?
You're standing right next to her.
Oh yeah. So don't I get help on my saving throws?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a plus
Well,
4,
let me
right?
double check.
Within 10 feet.
Yes.
It might depend on the paladin. I don't know.
Yeah.
While I am conscious, you grant all friendly creatures, including you within 10 feet, a +4 bonus to all saving throws.
There you go.
Nice.
I think it's all paladins. Or protection, right?
Saving throw.
Ah.
13 plus 4. That doesn't add the 4. So it's
Oh.
15 plus 4, which is 19.
Okay. You're for a whole second, your brain is just full of white static, and then you snap out of it, and you can look, and this brilliant, bright light in front of you. You barely see through the glare as it flares, but you're not affected by the ability. You motherfucker. Next up is Zavala. As you look up, no longer averting your gaze, what would you like to do?
So I am what? Like 25 feet away from the creature, roughly?
You are, yes, I believe so. I can measure for you if you want. Yeah. 20 feet.
Alright. I'm grappled, but can I move into proximity with it?
You cannot move. You are grappled. Your speed is
Okay.
0.
So with my bonus action, I would like to cast my Vow of Enmity at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I snarl, "By the Raven Queen, be damned." And I will take out my silvered greatsword and I will try to slash the tentacle to free myself.
Sounds good. Go ahead and roll to hit. And the Vow of Enmity gives you advantage.
On ability checks and attacks against the creature. So just straight rolls.
Yes. Straight roll. Oh yeah, I think you should have been rolling with disadvantage there. Both Rebecca and Autumn, because you guys are grappled.
Not anymore.
Well, you're not, but you were grappled when you were making the attacks, and Bex, you were grappled.
Huh.
So let
the
you
first
guys
attack is only a 12. They're both 12s.
Neither hit, unfortunately. You're slashing, trying to get... One of them actually almost glances and like slashes across the side of it, and there's a faint sizzle from across the surface of the tentacle, but it's not quite enough because you're being pulled back and forth, not trying to just keep straight and trying to keep your feet on the ground.
So I just hiss at it in frustration.
Okay. It is going to use its next, and unfortunately, its next legendary action to... it's going to reel you in, Widowmaker.
I don't know if grappled imposes disadvantage.
I don't think.
No? Is it just makes your speed
does.
0?
Yeah.
Just 0.
Okay. 1, 2, 3,
Also, it's
4.
going to have it. Just to remind you, it's got disadvantage on all attacks right now.
Yep, but it's already got you grappled,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it doesn't need
I
to...
just give you a reminder.
So if I am not at disadvantage, then that would have just been one attack as opposed to both my attacks.
Okay, do you want to do your next attack?
I would love to.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh, 18 to hit.
18 will hit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. 18 does not hit.
Okay.
There's an AC value for the tendrils, there's an AC value for the creature. So if I fucked that up before, that was my bad.
Alrighty, then that was a miss, sadly.
Again, another slash comes down and just it digs into the dirt right in front of you as you are again pulled off your feet for a second. You just look up at this creature now, this horrific mound of like fungus and flesh. It's hard to tell even what this thing could possibly be. It's going to bring us to the end of the round. Top now, beginning with Barry. You see one of your friends get you see Neff get pulled from across the arena as he's slashing at these tendrils with both scimitars, and then you see another friend get pulled towards it as two shots ring out in the evening sky. Like there's a brilliant flashes of light from this center point.
Oh man, that does not look good. I don't need to cancel the Crimson Rite, right? I can just cast, or I can just use another one and it'll just overwrite the last one, right?
I think it just overrides the last one.
Alright.
Well, it should say like, or you can dismiss it at any time or something like that. It'll say like in the features.
If you aren't holding it at the end of your turn, when you activate a rite, suffer that much damage. I don't see why not.
Okay, we'll allow it.
Uh,
We'll get to the bottom of it after the session.
Bonus action Crimson Rite for the lightning one.
Okay, on the same weapon?
Yes, on the same
So it's
weapon.
overriding, and that's on your heavy crossbow, right?
Correcto.
With silvered bullets?
I take 3 damage. Ouch.
As Barry pulls one of his own bolts and slashes it across his arm, and as he does, there's this arc of blood that floats in the air for a second and then galvanizes. And as soon as it does, he's able to fire this bolt that shoots an arc of lightning across the sky.
Don't mind me, that's normal.
I'm good.
Bleeding.
Hurts them more than it hurts me.
Widowmaker thinks we should really get him some help for this cutting problem that he has. Try for help.
Again, 2 shots while not looking at... Wait, I guess if I peek around the corner at the thing, it's not doing... The bulb isn't flashing, right?
Does not currently appear to be flashing when you peer around the corner.
All right, then I will look at it.
All right, you're looking at it.
I haven't tried looking at it. 2 shots with the heavy crossbow.
Okay. So, and remember the way that remember the way that that averting your gaze works is you'll decide at the beginning of each turn,
Correct.
whether or not you're looking at the creature. If you decide that you can't see the creature, you'll make the attacks a disadvantage, and you are considered blind. So attacks against you will have advantage.
Right.
Throughout the round. So keep that in mind if you do decide to avert your gaze.
Got it. Attack. Not bad. 20.
It's going to hit. It's pretty big, pretty slow, not the highest AC.
Ooh, man. All right. That's 12 silvered piercing and 6 lightning damage.
Lightning.
Latin. What?
Lightning. Don't you understand English? I said lightning.
I don't understand hillbilly.
What'd you call me?
12 and 6, you said?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be Swamp Billy?
Swamp scuttling.
Swamp.
Did someone say swamp buggy?
Redneck. Alligator wrestling sons of bitches.
Okay, is that your turn?
Wrestling?
How did the lightning affect it?
It when it hit, it arced through it, and it didn't appear to have any resistance to it as it hit into it.
Yeah, it works. I'm a genius, cause I'm gonna do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Gonna hit.
Worse. Way worse.
Way worse.
How much damage?
That's 6 silvered piercing and 2 lightning. I am also going to use a brand of castigation.
Castiglione.
Yeah, that's almost what I said.
Castration?
Castigation.
Is that right?
The brand of castigation.
If there's anything to castrate
Catheterization.
on the monster,
So when you
will do
hit it with an attack, you create this brand on the creature.
correct.
You can follow. Okay. So as you fire that last shot and it digs into this creature, there's a flare of energy around, and like a rune gets carved into its body and flares with lightning for a second, and now it's branded inside of this creature.
I hope that hurt.
All right.
And I will move. Oop. I will move. There.
Okay. So.
Yeah. Enter.
All right. So we're going to start this off first with the first attack is going to be, it scoops you up, Widowmaker, and begins to draw you towards it. And as it does, this maw is opening in the side of this creature, these weird stony protrusions. Looks like bits of bone on the inside. I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Zavala, come over here.
Sure. Be right there.
16.
No! You are not swallowed. Instead, you are now pulled against it. Your arm goes up. You feel something slash into your hand as you pull the top of the maul, and a leg on the bottom as your gun is in one hand, and you're just like holding yourself from being sucked into this creature. It's going to use its next attack as one of the tendrils grows back from where it was slashed off. It is going to... Who's it going to attack? It's going to attack you again, Neff.
Rude.
Rude. Oh, it's a natural 1. You just slash it away with a scimitar.
Does it hit itself and blind
No.
itself and become unnaturally susceptible to fire?
It grapples itself.
We can start doing critical failures if you want.
No, well,
No, that's
no,
all right,
that's the.
no.
We're good.
All right, next one's going to be a 22.
Oh wow, that missed actually.
Weird. You're going to take 19 points of necrotic damage. And now you are also grappled as this thing wraps around you twice. It is also
It got a 22 with disadvantage?
But still has.
Oh.
Wait. Until the end of this coming turn, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Lo siento. Let me roll one more time. The next one was a natural 20.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Great.
Wow. Okay. Brutal. Fuck, but that would have been a natural 20. Whatever. That's fine.
Suck it. I mean,
You are now grappled. And
great.
is going to...
Because it's technically dazed. Like,
Mm-hmm. It is going, and that's the only effect of daze, is that it's like woozy and it makes attacks with disadvantage. Okay. It is going to then move 20 feet straight down. It begins to go into the pool and it begins to drag you guys with it. So it goes 20 feet straight down. You guys move 20 feet closer to it. Widowmaker, you go down there with it, unfortunately. You get pulled into the hole. So you are now...
is it underwater though?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So you
You're
are now
trapped in here with
You're
me.
now on the surface of the water. You're about you're halfway dug into the soft mud of this underground, and it's almost completely submerged except for some of the tendrils coming out of the top, and now this little bulb that's hanging in the top. And that is its turn. Neff, you were up next. You were grappled and pulled. You were also grappled and pulled to the same distance. You guys are halfway stuck in the mud.
Okay.
And you were also, it goes without saying, but you were suffocating.
I immediately begin to attack the tendril that's holding me.
Go right ahead. And I'm going to make sure I have the right AC on this time.
What is... 17 is a miss, right?
That is a miss.
Okay. Natural 20.
That just hits.
That was the silvered sword.
Okay.
So, well, that was natural 20, 25. So, yeah, silver sword. And so that's this bad boy. Favorite foe is this bad boy. Wait, no. Favorite foe is single damage. So, 13 with the sword. 6 with the favored foe. Drake does infused strike on that one. That would work, right?
The Drake actually, well,
Because
yes, you're still in range. So you actually probably moved to right about there. You guys are here now. As it goes straight down, you're kind of pulled on top of it and now coming down. So the Drake is still within range that it can make that attack.
Okay, so that's an additional 4. Says a total of 10 fire damage.
Okay.
Was I also pulled forward?
You're also grappled? Then yes, you are pulled forward to here, I think. So 10 fire damage, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Fluffy immediately comes in and attacks the tendril pulling at me.
I just fucked this up.
It's dead.
Face icon.
I accidentally deleted its hit points instead of...
Oh.
Command Z.
And Fluffy's attack is a dirty 20.
Okay, against the tendril, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's this bad boy. 6 piercing, 5 fire.
Okay. So as your head goes underwater, you immediately begin slashing at this thing, and as you begin to cut through it, you feel the Drake pass through you in the water and clamp down on the tendril as you slash through it, and it pulls away. And as you're floating there for a second, you see Widowmaker and this creature like beginning to descend into the muck.
Okay.
So you are no longer grappled.
Is this normal water? It's water, right? So I mean, like,
It's just gross.
okay. Shit. I swim to the surface or go to the surface to get some air,
Mm-hmm.
And hold at the surface. That's my turn.
Okay. Hold at the surface. Let me see. Let me think about what I wanted to do here. Okay. So, beginning of its legendary action here, it is going to send out a blast of this light, and I believe everybody's looking except for Barry. Is that correct?
Behind the
Or
wall,
no?
yes.
You're behind the wall. Okay. I need everybody to make a wisdom saving throw.
I mean, technically, I'm in its mouth. All right, fine. I'll play. I'll play your game.
20.
21.
A wisdom saving throw. Here
I
goes.
believe that Zaval is now within range of you too.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, then 25.
14.
Even with that little bit of a bump, you stare
Oh, no,
into
wait.
it.
I'm sorry. Just click.
Okay.
It's 16. It's a 16.
Of course it is. Of course it's 16.
Sorry.
Well, you for a second there, because you just made the save, you're staring and you just have to rip your head away, like almost completely mesmerized by this beam, despite the fact that you are sinking down into the water and can't breathe.
I can breathe.
Oh, you can breathe underwater? Okay. Good to know.
It's like you were made for this.
Huh.
That's right, because you're the... I keep switching this by accident. So, then it is your turn. What would you like to do?
So with that, I will cock the howler and fire a violent shot right down its throat.
Okay. You're firing at the creature, not the tendril, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Joke's
if
on
I'm-
you.
if
It
I-
doesn't
if
have a
I'm-
throat.
If I'm inside of its maw, I'm gonna just point it down
Straight into it.
and fire a violent shot at it.
It is a grisly scene on the inside of this thing, by the way. You're not sure the percentage of fungus versus meat on the inside of
Ew.
this thing. It is awful.
All right.
Negative. I'm a meat popsicle.
I'm gonna get this out of the way. Get back to the chat and attack. And is it a straight roll or disadvantage?
You're still grappled, so I think it's a straight roll.
Straight roll. Okay. That is a 22 to hit.
Okay, that's definitely going to hit.
Awesome. And then that just means I get to roll additional damage die for the violent shot. So that's gonna give me plus 1d10. Where's my plus? 1d10. Hopefully it works. $14?
14 total points of damage.
Boo. Yeah, of silvered.
Silvered. Okay.
Yep. And that's my first attack, and then I'll take a second attack. Fire again. Kapow! That's gonna miss.
Firing underwater, probably not great for your guns. As your first one goes off, it goes straight through the creature. You can even hear the faint sizzle from down here underwater. Your breath is caught in your throat, and you go to fire again, and it's a dry click. It is going to use its It's going to use its last legendary action for the round to reel in.
You know what? You know what? I'm sorry, I'm not quite done with my turn.
Okay. Like halfway through his legendary action. Come on, let's do it. What do you got?
Well, I was going to take a bonus action because.
What's your bonus action?
Because I can. I'll try a Tentacle of the Deeps.
Okay.
So I'll summon one of those, and
erupting from the soft soil of the bottom of this pond in the darkness.
And so it'll immediately. I'll take an attack roll.
Mm-hmm.
Getting very kinky.
Lots of tentacles down there.
So many tentacles.
Oh, it's probably gonna miss.
This is the origin story of the kobold hentai.
There's no
miss?
kobolds here, though.
There used to be.
You don't know who's hiding in these buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a miss. So go ahead, do your reaction.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
Hit me.
No, he's not. It's not going to hit you. It over your head. You feel a heavy plated figure like almost hit you in the back as this thing is pulling you into its maw, and a second like gaping wound in this creature begins to open. As I need you to make a strength saving throw now against this creature.
Me?
Me?
Zavala.
Who's you?
Zavala, sorry. I'm like pointing at the screen.
Collective you.
19.
Okay. You're now the same. Both of you are now caught in this creature's maw, but you're not quite being forced in. As you both now are in range, and it is just trying to pull you both down closer. So that is its legendary action to try to pull you in and take a. Oh wait, did I do that wrong? I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I made you save for no reason. It makes an attack against you. Lo siento. I think I fucked it up last time too. This is the one problem with running a creature that you completely made from scratch, with all these different unique abilities, is that you don't know what you're doing. So you'll have to forgive me. I have the chronic dumb.
None of us really know what our characters do, so it's all good. You're just in the same boat as the rest of us.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, this is your character. It's just hideous and disgusting.
And trying to kill the rest of us. It's just hangry.
Doesn't matter. It's an 11. As those weird, like, bony protrusions clamp down in your armor and try to pull you in, you're too much. It can't get enough of a grip on the metal to consume you.
I grit my teeth at the sound of the teeth scraping against the metal.
Scraping across the armor. It's rough. It is now your turn.
And I am underwater now, yes?
You're underwater.
Unfortunately do not breathe under here.
So you've got as many rounds as your Constitution modifier down here.
I thought vampires don't breathe.
I'm not a vampire.
Oh, my bad.
I'm only half a vampire.
She only needs to breathe half the amount that
Nice.
otherwise.
It's got one lung.
I will
The other ball shriveled up.
Yeah.
attempt to continue to slash myself free of this tentacle then.
Okay, go right ahead.
That is a 20 for my first attack.
That will hit.
And I'm going to pump one spell slot into this for Divine Smite.
Okay.
So it's 6 silvered slashing damage, I believe. And so I'm trying to find the button. It has a button to roll it.
just like underwater, like just trying to.
And that is 6 radiant from Divine Smite.
Okay, that's total damage is in like the mid-teens, right?
Yeah, it's total of 12, 6 and 6.
Mm-hmm. You slash through this thing with the silver sword, and there's like a brief detonation depth charge of the radiant damage beneath the surface of the water, and the whole a section of the tendril just splits in half where you slash through it and begins to drift off down to the bottom of the water. You are free from the tendril. You are no longer grappled.
Next, I would like to slash at the bulb.
Go right ahead. Make an attack.
That is a 24 to hit.
That will hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
That is 9 silvered slashing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do another Divine Smite.
Okay.
And that is 4 radiant for the Divine Smite.
So as you slash into this thing, there's another of those deep depth charges of this radiant damage, and the whole thing begins to flicker for a second, and it's hanging on by a thread almost off to the side, but then it lights back up. As you just almost cleaved all the way, almost completely through this weird tendril coming from the top of its head with the bulb on the end.
And I will kick up to the surface and take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, it is very tough to swim in full plate mail. So you're fighting it pretty hard right now.
Do I make it to the surface, though?
Mm-hmm. Just barely.
All right.
And you are fighting, and you are like at the surface, like get a breath, and you can already feel like the weight of it pulling you back down to the muck.
How much of my movement did that take?
To get to the surface, it took it was 10 feet to the surface, so that took 20 feet.
Okay. Is there anything that I can stand on within the water to keep my head above the water?
Not at the depth that you're currently at, because you were pulled into the center, and it's a deep basin, so you'd have to walk up the side of the to get out.
I will try to make my way toward land again. This is not a good situation for me.
Okay. All right. So to make your way towards land, you use your next. You have 30 feet of movement.
35.
35. So you take the next 10 feet, and make it another 7 or so feet towards the edge. Your head is almost above water as you get to the end of your movement speed. So that brings us to the creature's next legendary action. No, wait, it already used 2, didn't it? It used the bloom, and then it used the grab to try to eat you. Mm-hmm. So never mind. That's it. We're back to the beginning of the round with Barry.
Oh man, this ain't looking too good. Pops out, doesn't see nothing. He can feel that the thing is underwater, so put away the crossbow and see him kind of go. Use the bonus action to transform.
Okay. All right.
And then is that time to go pull an Uncle Larry, and he comes over here. He now has 40 feet of movement. Can I tell how far under they are?
What's your passive perception?
19.
Yeah, you can tell that they're a good 7 or 8 feet underwater.
Alright, that's not so bad. That was 5, 10, 15, 20, get a running head start.
We're in the shallow end of the pool.
2, climb up on these, running up these mushrooms. and
Okay.
Jumping off the top rope into the water.
All right. Give me an acrobatics check to give yourself advantage on the attack roll because that's fucking nuts.
Not bad. 17.
So you come like a flying people's elbow down into the water to be able to break the surface quick enough and have movement to get there.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna have to use the D&D Beyond sheet to get the hybrid stuff going. So his claws are considered magical, I think, for these purposes.
I think
I love the visual of like a people's elbow coming in from the top ropes, but into the water.
But into the water, it like gets rid of all his momentum by the time he reaches it.
And I'm picturing like dog's head hanging out the window, like mouth open, tongue as he's falling.
I love, it becomes like a people's back massage by the time he gets down there. There's just no momentum left at all.
I can see that the bulb is nearly detached. Yes.
You can see that.
All right, then I will also go for the bulb with my first attack.
Mm-hmm.
Using DX. A 19.
Not quite enough to break through.
Balls. Oh wait, I get advantage, right? You said?
On the first attack, yes.
Okay. That's even worse. That was a 3, so it's 11. Okay. Second attack. Oh yeah, 24.
Hits.
That's non-slashing. Magical slashing.
Magical slashing. Okay. So it cuts through the last bits, the tendony remains that are still kind of holding it together. You slash through that, and it immediately begins to drift off underwater as the rest of it now begins to go beneath the sands. It just kind of drifts into the air for a second, and there's like a bright green sort of bioluminescent soup sort of pouring out of the back of this long tendril as it sort of floats to the bottom of the pond.
Quick question about Crimson Right. Do you have to recast it to get it on your claws, or is it just something that's on whatever weapon you're using?
It's on the weapon. Yeah, so It was on the crossbow the last turn, but he put it away to transform. So I would need to use another bonus action to recast it on the claws to get the right damage. And that will how much time do I have underwater again? It's your constitution
Modifier per round. But no, that's only with suffocating and choking though. You're like actively jumping into the water, so you have a bit more time. You can hold your breath a number of minutes per your constitution modifier.
All right, so I am within 5 feet of the creature. Correct?
You are.
All right, I'm gonna stay there.
Okay. And what you guys see basically, you see just a little bit the top of this creature kind of poking up out of the bottom of the muck. There's like these weird kind of growths on the top of it. Looks like as you're getting closer to it, there's like there's unspeakable parts sticking off of this mound. There's like teeth jammed in it and bone,
including a Widowmaker.
Including a Widowmaker who is now currently like coupled with it. All right, so this thing is digging down into the muck. It lets out a loud, like shuddering, and begins to go deeper now into the dirt. Who's still grappled by it?
Just Widowmaker.
In that case, it's going to first make a attack against you.
Do I get an opportunity attack as it moves away?
It's not going to move away yet. It's going to make this attack first, and then it will move away. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we would all, because I'm pretty much in.
You guys would all get it. You know what? What's this thing's intelligence modifier? No. No. It's too dumb to flee. So.
Same.
It is going to make its first attack against you, Widowmaker. First one's going to be a 13. Don't think it's going to hit. Second attack against you. Here's what it tried to do. First thing it tried to do was eat you, because you're already grappled by it. Fails. As you're now in its mouth again, and it's trying to bite down, you're still holding yourself out. Your gun is cocked and ready to go. Its next attack is instead going to be against. This is tough, because it's in a tough spot. And now its angler is gone. No, it's going to try to bug out. It is going to move. It's going to make its last two attacks. One against Neff, and the next one against you, Barry. And it's going to attempt to flee. So, first attack against Neff. 18.
Hits.
Only 9 damage, 9 necrotic. Next attack against Barry.
It also takes 3 psychic damage from the brand.
That's a natural 1, so it doesn't even hit. Does it still take the damage?
Yes, because it's against Neff.
Okay.
So it's damage. Okay, so each time the branded creature deals damage to you or a creature you can see within 5 feet of you, the creature suffers 3 psychic damage.
Okay, so it only takes it from Neff.
Yes.
Okay. No, I think it does have a bit of self-preservation in it because it survived this long. So now it's going to move an additional 20 feet down into the muck. So that means that Neff, Zavala, and Barry all get opportunity attacks. That also means that Widowmaker, you're going to be under the muck come this next turn. 20 feet straight down. You're now suffocating, and you guys go ahead and make your opportunity attacks.
Yeah. Wait, I have to do it here. Oh, balls. Natural 1.
Okay.
22. And I have Sentinel, so it loses its movement.
Shit! Okay, go ahead and roll your damage.
Not today, motherfucker!
And I will Divine Smite again.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Let's go.
9 from the sword.
There's a feature on here.
And I'm gonna pump up
I'll go for it.
the
Just do it.
the Divine Smite for that extra 1d8.
Do it. There was a feature on here that at the last minute I decided not to use that I should have used.
11 radiant.
I was like, I think it's gonna be way too tough. I can't do that to him. I should have fucking did it. 11 radiant damage.
11 radiant damage.
All right. There is another shudder from this creature as you slash into it. And as you slash through it, there's this murky darkness that splashes out of the side from underwater into a giant cloud, giant black cloud. So it is not going anywhere now. And Neff, now you've got your attack.
Okay, that was a 24.
Hits.
And that was what was it? 12 silver damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I have any elemental damage on that.
Okay.
I don't think.
Okay.
So-
Your Drake is just a little out of range on that one too.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
The elemental damage from the drake
Oh, no.
is 30 feet, so it should.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I was thinking to be within opportunity
Flanking?
attack. Yes. Opportunity attack.
He's not in that range, even though he's right next to the.
He's right next to
icon.
you. You're 10 feet above. I'm sorry, 5 feet above.
Okay.
So he's slightly out of range.
Okay. Okie dokie. That's it for my opportunity attack.
All right. Now it's your turn, Neff.
I'm within 5 feet of it. So yeah, I'm gonna full on attack. Not just attack, but full on attack. So that's 20.
Gonna hit.
22. Okay. And that's. You know what? I didn't add my favored foe to that last attack. So that was 3 favored foe damage on that last attack also.
Okay.
So now we'll do this damage. Ooh. Nice. 22 damage on that one.
Wow. All silvered?
Yeah. No. Sorry. That's.
You already taken one attack with your first attack with your silvered weapon.
Yeah. So that's 10 silvered, 6 favored foe, 8 longsword.
Didn't you just use favored foe? Or is it each attack?
The first, yeah, it's every attack.
Oh, okay. So 22 total. And it was, I'm sorry, do the breakdown for me one more time because it's silvered, favored foe, and what?
Silvered, favored foe, and normal. 2-weapon fighting, right?
Mm-hmm. How much is the normal damage? Because it's only going to do half.
The normal damage was 8.
Okay. So 22 minus 4.
Plus snuggle damage. How much for that?
Right.
That actually heals it. Unfortunately, makes it feel better about itself.
Okay, so for the second attack, $23 to hit. Yeah. So then I take out favored foe for this attack.
Okay.
And no bonus action from the dag on this one.
No dag.
9 silver. And 4 normal. And 4... Oh, no favored foe. Because it's the second attack. So, that's it.
Okay.
9 silvered, 4 standard.
Woof. Okay. Is that your turn, sir?
That is my turn. Oh, wait. Yeah, no. So now it's Fluffy. Sorry. So then... oh, yeah. Since I can't command Fluffy, he just attacks.
Okay, he's got to swim a little closer.
Okay. Then he swims a little closer to attack. Right? Okay. So,
yep.
Is he gonna fit in that space? I don't know. I don't understand. Like, do I need to move him around? Like,
here's what I'm gonna do. You don't have to move him now. I'm just gonna put some modifiers on him.
Okay.
So that's here, and now he's moving 10 down.
Okay.
So now he can get to it.
He has a swim of 40, so he should be okay.
Yep.
And he attacks for a mighty... What's his plus? 6? For a mighty 10.
Wow.
Whiff.
No, okay, non-magical, right?
No, that was his attack roll was a 10.
Oh, gotcha. Never mind. Okay. This thing is not looking good, by the way. There are chunks of it missing. The water is a like a black-brown stew. It is pretty nasty where you guys are right now as you're hacking and slashing into this thing. This weird shuddering noise coming from the inside of it. Widowmaker, you are up.
As she's being pulled into the muck, she's gonna stir the howler, and she's got one hand on the top of the mouth, and she's gonna use the other free hand, and she's gonna cast 2 beams of Eldritch Blast right into its whatever it is. She's holding on to.
Okay. All right, you got it.
Oh, first attack. Is a 21.
That hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Damage is a 10 radiant. And
Oh, it does radiant damage instead of force?
oh, is it force?
Yeah.
It's force.
I don't know. I don't know these
Yeah,
things.
Eldritch Blast is force.
Force then.
Okay.
Make it so.
It
And
does
then-
whatever damages it the most.
And then
You
the
guys
second
haven't done that damage type a single time this entire fight.
Yes.
beam 2
Go ahead.
is only a 16. So that'll miss.
Okay. 16. What,
Excellent.
16? 16 hits.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, the tendrils have higher AC than the creature itself.
Excellent. Then that's an additional 10.
Wow.
She was using lay on blast rather than lay on
Yeah.
lay on blast.
Okay.
And you know what? Let's try another tentacle just for funsies. Bonus action, Tentacle of the Deeps.
Whoever's
ahead.
watching, don't clip that.
Or do, it's fine.
Or do. It's gonna ruin her run for Congress.
Everybody loves
That's not what's gonna ruin it. Alright, here we go. Tentacle of the Deeps. What do I spell attack? Roll. Yeah! Hits.
It does and does nothing as it is immune to cold damage.
But it also, its speed is reduced by 10 feet.
Unreal.
So it's 100% real.
You reduced its speed from 20 to 10.
Yeah.
End turn.
Okay.
How long do I have with the suffocation? Is it your con modifier, a number of...
It's
Well,
a number
not-
of rounds
didn't-
because you're suffocating. So it's
It
a number
didn't
of
get into
rounds.
the muck though, right?
It
Wasn't
didn't.
that why she was?
Oh, that's right,
suffocating?
because
Because of
Zavala's...
sentinel.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
but since you've been underwater this whole time, you were pulled against your will into the water. You had no, like, you couldn't, not like you're like, and then dove in. You were just like, fuck, went into the water. So you've been
But it-
suffocating since you've been
No,
underwater.
but I can breathe underwater, so...
That's right. Okay. So you're not suffocating because of being, like, in the mud.
Right, once
You're
I
fine.
go into the muck, that's when I was...
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Unless you can also breathe mud. I don't know your life. I don't know your life.
I can, but I don't like to.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's
Um,
fair. It's kind of a bummer.
So,
You know these salamanders on the frontier that never mind.
is its speed reduced just for one round, or did Zavala stop it from moving for just one round?
Yes,
Just this
just
one round, yes.
Okay, so at this point,
Now it has 10 feet of...
it only has 10 feet of movement. Great. Okay, thank you. Enter.
Okay. So then that is that. It brings on to Zavala. It's going to be your turn, but first it is going to... Oh god, it's got nothing left to do.
You just give up.
It might just give up. There's not much left going on here. It's got no other choice. It is going to use its legendary action. Instead of attacking, it is going to attempt to move away and descend into the muck. With only 10 feet of movement, it'll just get below. You won't be pulled quite into it. You're like halfway submerged. Oh, you didn't break the grapple yet, right? You've been grappled this entire battle. Yeah, doesn't give a fuck. This is just like pulling down. She's like firing into it. It's going to attempt to move 10 feet down. So you've already used your reaction, though.
Yeah, we've all used our reactions,
Um,
right?
I haven't
Neff
used a reaction.
and Widowmaker should have reactions now.
Neff
It's
used
back to
it-
their turn.
Oh, it's back to their
That's
turn.
true.
But
yes.
my reaction is shot
Okay.
because it's between the start of my next turn.
Okay. So it is attempting to move away. It moves 10 feet down. So that means that Neff and well, you're being pulled with it, Widowmaker. But Neff, you have your attack, and so does your Drake against it as it attempts to move down. It attempts to submerge itself completely and basically bug out.
Natural 20.
So smug.
I hate it so much. I hate it.
So that's, let's see. Favorite
It's
foe.
actually this has been a really good learning experience because I think that I was going easy on the CR, so I was kind of worried. But I think it's going to be going forward. It's going to be the average level of the group plus a certain amount, like +2. So it'll be CR 10 instead of rated at a CR 8, which is what it is right now.
So that's 17 damage from me.
Mm-hmm.
And
How would you like to do this?
Wow! Yeah.
sweet.
The last little bit of it submerging in the sand as you see Widowmaker's legs disappear into the muck.
Since I have, I'm not encumbered by water, I'm gonna swim full speed, just blap after it and stab it and try to twist and take off just the top of it as it goes under. Just for fun.
Dive down. It almost completely submerges. There's just a little bit of that ruined tendril at the top, kind of drifting with a bit of this brackish like gunk coming out of the top of it. You slam the scimitar down it and twist it and lop off a chunk that kind of rises up with you as there is a shudder and the whole sand is kind of moving under the water and rumbling back and forth, and then goes still as the tentacle that's wrapped around you, Widowmaker, goes limp.
Resurface. But I'm gonna hang out down there, actually.
It's gonna chill.
I'm gonna chill and also investigate while I'm down there. See what I can see. See what I find. Even though my investigation sucks.
Can I stay down there for? I mean, I've got 2 minutes, right? Constitution modifier.
Yeah.
Can I stay down there and assist her?
Of course you can. You guys want to make investigation checks while you're down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Let's
Zavala
do independent.
Yes.
is getting the fuck
The
out of
last
this
time.
disgusting water as quickly as she can.
It is foul. I mean, you guys actually, that's a really good point. You cannot really see down here with all this muck and this goop that's in the way. So
Okay.
it's going to be a fairly high DC trying to dig through this creature's remains once it's half submerged, and it's hard
You
to
might
see.
get lucky.
Like a 25.
That's not great, honestly. I've seen much higher than that, so it's like not a big deal.
Damn. Shade.
Y'all, I got a 19.
Hey.
Nice.
By the
bad.
way,
That's-
for anybody watching, I have -2 to my intelligence. So that's really good.
So as you guys have to excavate some of this creature up out of the bottom of this well, or at the bottom of this pond, and are pulling it up. And you notice that as it's kind of after its death rattle, it is kind of falling apart, almost completely dissolving. And you kind of pull in the center of it, and you see as you look inside of this thing, there you see like a spine, rib cages, femurs, like forming the interior of this creature, interwoven with this matted moss and fungus that sort of grows upward with these weird tendrils that are wrapping around the insides of it. You guys find, because of your high checks, you find a +1 scimitar. You find four. You find 4 silvered soul badges. You find 1 very nice boot.
Just one.
You find 2 silver
left
bars.
boot?
Yeah, you find 2 silver bars, which are valued at 200 silver apiece. And you also find a amulet that appears to be remarkably clean, despite the fact that it was inside the gullet of some creature.
Awesome.
All right.
Then we'll make our way to the surface after that. But
Also, are you guys all experience on your sheets? You guys all put experience?
No.
I think that should be just a quick switch.
Yeah.
Just switch it to
Switching. XP. Can I also go down and pick up the bulb?
Yes,
that we got
it's
off?
looks like a deflated football at this point, and a lot of the bioluminescence has sort of gone out.
Okay, I'm switched.
Okay.
Switched.
Well, I just went to the wrong section of the DMG, and now I'm looking at grenades. What the hell?
We find grenades?
You guys found grenades. It's fucking crazy.
I like grenades. These good.
I like grenades. They're
We
pretty
blow
nice.
shit up. That's
Were
good.
those the special abilities that you opted not to use?
there's just a huge explosion underwater suddenly, but then at the top, it's just a little boop, little bubble. As the Widowmaker comes up, I assume her hat's just been floating on the surface of the water. She's just gonna like come back into the hat, like one motion. She comes out.
as Widowmaker
Water pouring down.
Widowmaker and Zavella both like slog out of the water. They're just like long, like hair is just like the ring. It's like down over their faces. Same thing with Barry as he gets out of the water, just like full on wet cat. Like looks like he was lean and wiry before, but he looks damn near skeletal as he comes out of the water, and all of his fur is kind of like wet and matted to his body as he like gives a shake and comes out. So you guys get 3,900 experience split amongst the 4 of you.
3,900.
3,900. So let me do some quick math. All right.
So that's 3,000
Nine-
for me
Nine-
and 300
975 each.
975 each.
Booyah. Level
Wait, why am I level?
3.
Yeah, what the hell? What's up?
What just happened?
Yeah.
You should have
Oh, I need to
23
set level first.
23,000 experience points
Yeah.
at level 8.
Wait.
What did it de-level you or something?
What's happening?
Yeah, de-leveled. There we go.
That's super weird. Well, we can worry about that shit later.
So level 8 is 34,000.
Oh, is it? Then why not have 20?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take 34. So we should all be 34,970.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End of story. Let's go dry off.
As the 4 of you pull yourselves from the muck and begin walking towards the center of town, did you guys want to actually take a look around in here or anything, or did you want to head back and get paid? It's up to you. I'm going to let you guys do whatever you want.
Is the surrounding area any different now that the creature is dead?
It does not appear to be directly different currently.
I wanted to investigate is there anything left of the alchemist's lab?
Sure. Walk around. Give me an investigation check.
He shakes off the muck water.
We can switch back over to the Cauldhammer map.
25.
And I like how Zavala's just kind of chilling down here by herself. Come on over, Zavala.
She opted not to participate. Only there for the XP.
So that creature was called the Anglerblight. It was immune to cold and necrotic. It was resistant to poison, force, acid, and fire. And
God
it was
damn it.
vulnerable to thunder.
Damn.
One of the 2 mystic elixirs I have that I didn't bother with.
Nobody used the elixir.
I didn't use any elixir. We
okay.
didn't use our trapper's kit.
Nope. Nope.
We like all of the like special feature stuff.
Special
we just
features,
totally
yeah.
like whatever.
Wholly unprepared.
Zavala was
for,
assuming that Radiant was doing the trick, so.
Yeah,
I mean, it
thought
kinda
we were gonna
was.
Go in
Lightning
more
was
a little like prepared than that.
Well, I
That
think
was, somebody
stumbled
just had to
into
poke
it.
with a fucking
kinda-
stick.
I mean, she didn't know. Also, you guys, you had been. It seemed like you had leads in both at this alchemist place and also in the slums. So you could have gone to, and also to the thermal vents. So you could have gone there as well. You just would have continued to gain more information. What was your investigation check, Barry?
25.
25. You do, and this is not. I'm not making this shit up. You do find a number of notes that are tucked away on the 2nd floor in what remains of a strong box. And as you begin pouring through the notes, they are written in a language that you may not speak. What languages do you speak?
I speak common, deep speech, and goblin.
Deep sound
It is not-
speech.
It is not any of those.
Hey, can anybody help me? I can't read.
You would know. I can speak Draconic, Elvish, and Primordial.
Is it any of these?
It is Draconic.
Hey. Oh,
I
great. The
also
one that can't
Speak
speak.
Draconic.
Yeah, I could
Okay.
speak.
Oh.
We can all.
Alright. Well,
Yeah,
I guess
Everybody,
I'm
everybody
the
took that
one-
elective in college, apparently.
Yeah,
Again,
that's a very
Draconic.
common language
I
here.
didn't go to school, alright?
Unreal.
No shame.
So you, the 3 of you who can speak Draconic, being pouring over these notes, and you're comparing what you guys are reading because it's a pretty good stack of them, and it looks like through the alchemist's notes, he was looking. He pulled some samples from somewhere and was exposing this type of fungus to Blackstone in an attempt to create a fungus that could eat the pollution created from Blackstone and consume Blackstone runoff. And as he kept developing it, he was realizing that there was some sort of other application for it, and he began instead making it more and more lethal to potentially sell to someone who could weaponize it. And it began to grow out of control, and then he started to monitor it from afar, and then the notes abruptly stopped.
Any indication of where he went in the notes?
No indication. They end abruptly.
Okay. So let's see.
Well, I hope that the abrupt end to these notes mean that he met the wrong end of this fungus. And
Yeah,
will
we
not
may have
be
actually just
proceeding.
killed him for all we know. That could have, could have taken him over, and then. I mean, I did see some bits and pieces in there that were not pleasant.
And then I'll pull out the 4 silvered soul badges that we
Ah,
found and kind of toss them on the table.
Well, we found our schmucks.
Yeah, well, that's survival of the fittest. So they get they get what they reap what they sow.
Find anything
Fight
else
like
in there?
us, you go down.
You guys would know too that there's a running bounty on any badges that are found in the field. So those will get you 50 silver each.
Oh.
I'll pick them up, take one, and toss the others to the rest of the group.
One for each of us.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go seek the nearest hot bath. I haven't needed one so bad in my life. And I notice some kind of muck on my pauldron, and I just...
As she walks away, and just
Do
toss it on her back.
Do we
Make
want?
a sleight of hand check.
do we want to go get paid and split this up and then maybe take a bath or 3? Because, yeah, she's not wrong.
What's that number?
Wait, where is it? Did it show it?
It was like a 6 or
It's
something?
10. 6 plus 4, right? So 10.
Okay. Yeah, a 10.
You feel something hit the back of your head, Zavala. As you
When
were
when she turns around, my back's still to her.
with the hat
Like
down.
adjusting my hat. And kind of,
I stop
like it could have been an accident.
and then keep going.
So it's
Just the finger over the shoulder.
4 of you make your way back into town, across the bridge, and to the chapel. We can close it there because it's 2:30. If you guys would like, unless you feel like you need closure from the other NPCs. Otherwise, we can.
Can we collect our payment?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
And then we can wrap it up?
Yeah, I was just gonna give it to you.
That's fine. Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, sure.
So you each get a additional 400 silver per person.
Okay, so
Yeah.
but then with the 200 silver bars, do we just want to split that up among us? So
You guys can split it up amongst yourselves.
So that's 50 each.
yeah, 450 silver each for this entire endeavor. Is that how? that
Plus how much were the badges?
50.
Okay, so that's
works? 500.
500.
But the bounty, technically, we haven't collected on the badges yet.
Oh.
Right?
Right, you just have them.
Okay, so 450.
But I mean, depending on how we want to play this, you can just cash them. You can cash them in, and then next time you guys go out, it's like a new adventure. It could be months later or weeks later, or whatever.
Got it.
It's sort of like pick up and go to the next area, and it becomes very much like the town is the arena. So to whoever is still hanging out and watching, here's the basic rundown of what this is. This is an arena-style D&D session that's meant to be run as a one-shot, where you have a couple of characters. They all are basically the context is you are members of the Order of the Silvered Soul, and they are monster hunters. Think The Witcher, or think the game Monster Hunter, where they're all kind of part of a guild that goes out and hunts these creatures. This crew has been traveling together for a little while, and the idea is that you get to have fun with a lot of you get to still have fun and role play and investigate, but you can drag and drop and put these characters into different situations, and you don't lose a lot of the context of where they're going isn't the most important, because you already sort of assume we know each other, we're going to do this, we're killing a monster, and that's what we're doing. The other side of this is that on my end, I have rolled a creature based off of tables that we're creating and homebrewing, where I rolled its type, which was a plant. I rolled its attacking type, which was with the tendrils, a 20-foot reach. I rolled its movement type, which was immobile, which gave it a movement speed of 20 feet and tripled its attack ranges, which is why it could attack you guys from 60 feet away. I rolled one feature which I decided not to use, but I should have, which was Symbiotic Swarm, which would have had it surrounded by some type of other creature, like a bug. And I should have, and I didn't.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
I rolled all of its resistances, and when I found out that it was immune to cold, I changed the climate of the town to being winter.
Right.
It's also amphibious, which means it must be submerged in water once a day, another thing that was rolled. So I created areas that were water, and I basically you have to create a bunch of triggers for your players to investigate, like the fact that the fungus was growing in the water in the water of the ruts on your way here, and that it seemed to resist the cold. It disliked thunder damage, and had you met this other NPC in the slums, had you gone there, you would have learned that this crazy old man discovered that if you yell loud enough at the fungus, it withers.
Told you guys, slums.
Crazy ass NPC. There's all these different, the blind girl who was the only survivor of this crew because she couldn't see, so she couldn't be hypnotized by the thing. And wander into the woods to get eaten. So all of that stuff was rolled. All of these. So it was a immobile, luring, tentacled something. Like they all kind of have names, and they list them out to certain features. So the idea of that is to eventually create like a supplement where you can sit there and you can just, you guys want to do this? Okay, I rolled a monster. It has these 10 features, and we are ready to jump in. Let me randomly generate a map, and we're ready to play. And that's sort of the idea behind it. So we're going to keep working on it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this happen. I feel like it was a little too easy, if I'm being honest. I think you guys did not have a hard enough time.
Dude, I was down to like my last third of hit points. So I mean, had some other rolls gone really south, it could have been brutal.
I mean, by the way,
I know you wanted to kill some of us today, but
by the way, we are all level 8 characters. So if that makes a difference, like as a whatever, like so we're not like coming in with tons of stuff that we can do. Like I felt like I'd used my 2 grit points. You know, in the first round, I used one of my 2 spell slots that I have, and really after that, if he had been any harder, I would have just kept Eldritch blasting or firing
the gun
shots. So I mean, I was out of special stuff.
Yeah.
So
by
if
that
it had
point,
if it had been too much harder, it probably would have taken us down pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know, maybe adding one more CR level just so that it lasted a little longer, or
depends.
I don't know. Other little things. I don't know.
There was so much variability in the monster itself. You know, it being immobile, it was nice to have those extra attack ranges, but it really couldn't get away from you guys. But then I had 2 weekends ago, I had a creature that, you know, had a 60-foot movement speed and could climb walls, and that was a totally different thing.
Terrifying.
You know, clambering around and like spitting acid at people. So it really depends. It really depends. But
I think we need to just play it more. Yeah, play a few more. And
work out the kinks, figure out how to balance the tables, and also find a good way to generate attribute points, which is not something that the DMG covers. So until then, we're still going to be playing next weekend, but we'll be back to the Basilisk Frontier, which is going to be, you know, our Western style campaign, and we'll be. Fuck, you guys are in that ziggurat, so it's going to be crazy. Until then, you can, of course, catch Autumn Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. PST. He'll be doing some fun art stuff, and occasionally we bully him into doing stuff for us, too, so you might get to see some of that. And then, of course, if you hang out on the Discord, which is the Basilisk Frontier, you can see when we're jumping in to do design streams or creative streams or homebrew streams, that we can sit down and kind of chat and shoot the shit about D&D and design and art and all that good stuff. So until then, we hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. And take care. Bye, guys.
See you next time, guys.